Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. This special meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the schedule of the meetings of the Township Council established and adopted by Township Council, which schedules designated time and date and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We're using an electronic amplifying and recording device in order to obtain a clear and audible record, and request all those wishing to speak to recognize and state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of the minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Mignon.
Here.
Mrs. Albright Troxel.
She is on vacation.
Mrs. Grace Love.
She is on vacation.
Mr. Nash.
Here.
Mrs. Walters. Here. Mrs. Winters. Here. Mr. Mercado.
Present.
Mr. Carlemere.
Here.
Mr. Cardis.
He's on vacation.
Thank you.
We're joined by Mrs. Eric, our CFO, and Mrs. Sartor, who will be joining us, who's our special counsel that will sit next to Mr. Carlemere. For those who are new to our meeting and those that are watching from home, there are rules of order for our council meeting. If you're not familiar with them, they're on the bulletin board there. Please be respectful of every speaker that speaks. There's no profanity. Please, no outbursts from the audience and shouting from the audience. Everyone tonight will have an opportunity to speak. It is unlimited, this public hearing. So each speaker will be entitled to 5 minutes. Once each speaker has spoken, and a speaker would like to speak again, they would raise their hand and we'll allow them to speak again. Tonight is a special meeting with only one item on the agenda, and that's a public hearing on ordinance 0-24-17. This ordinance is to approve an agreement of sale between the township and New Jersey American Water for the sale of the sewer utility for $143 million, and authorizing the proposal to be printed on the November 5th, 2024 ballot for consideration by the residents of Gloucester Township. For residents that have not attended prior meetings and for the benefit of those watching on live stream, I'm going to provide a timeline and highlights of the bid, the proposed agreement, and tonight's ordinance. In March of 2024, Gloucester Township Council retained the services of Mrs. Megan Sartor of Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood to assist in exploring the possibility of selling the sewer utility. The Gloucester Township MUA was dissolved in 2023 and was folded into the township as a utility, the sewer department. The township submitted its request for bids to the State Comptroller's Office for the review. The State Comptroller's Office determined that the township was able to advertise for an RFB, request for bids, with a July 2nd due date. On July 2nd, 2 bids were received and were open here in council chambers. The 2 bidders were New Jersey American Water and Aqua New Jersey. Aqua's bid was opened first, and that bid was $52 million. New Jersey American Water's bid was then opened, and their bid was $143 million. Our legal counsel on this matter, Ms. Sartor, reviewed the bids that afternoon for completion and reported to Tom Cardis, the business administrator, Mr. Carlemere, the township solicitor, and myself, that New Jersey American Water was the highest responsible bidder. On July 8th, at our council meeting, a bid report was voted on by the members of council, accepting the 2 bids that were submitted in response to the request for bids, exploring the sale of the sewer utility. Additionally, the introduction and first reading of an ordinance to enter into agreement with the highest and most responsible bidder that responded to the township's request for bids for the sewer utility was on the agenda. This ordinance was to approve an agreement of sale between the township and New Jersey American Water for the sale of the sewer utility for $143 million and authorizing the proposal to be printed on the November 5th ballot for consideration by the residents of Gloucester Township. The ordinance was approved on July 8th and moved to tonight's meeting for a second reading and a public hearing. The bids that were submitted by Aqua New Jersey and New Jersey American Water are on the township's website for residents to view. In addition to that, the draft agreement of sale, which has been signed off by our legal counsel and also New Jersey American Water's legal counsel, that is also listed on the township's website. The highlights of the bid was submitted by New Jersey American Water for $143 million. If the voters agree to the sale, all debt must be paid off by the township first. There is a $200,000 will be payable to the township for transactions related to the sale of the utility. For instance, retaining the law firm of Hawkins, Delafield, and Wood. There would be $90 million in total capital improvements to the system within the first 10 years, 55 million of that within the first 7 years. The first 2 years after the sale, rates will not be raised, and the most it can be raised over the next 3 years is 9% in total, not compounded. There was a question brought up by a resident that it was compounded. New Jersey American Water clarified in writing that it is not compounded. Any rate increases have to be approved by the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities. New Jersey American Water is offering employment up to 23 existing employees of the sewer utilities. Those employees will receive equal or better pay and employment within the vicinity of Gloucester Township. This is for the wastewater system, sewer only. The recycling aspect remains with the township. Under the MUA and currently with the sewer utility, there is a senior and disabled citizens discount that is offered at $11.50 per quarter, a 25% discount. Ratepayers over 65 that meet the salary requirement of not exceeding $10,000 in income earnings, excluding Social Security, will continue to receive this discount. Those that are in that program will remain in that program. In addition, cleanouts. Residents are responsible for their curb to their residents. However, it came to our attention that cleanouts were being performed by the MUA and currently the utility at no cost to the residents. We will continue to provide that service to residents through our Public Works Department. We will now open up the public portion. How we'll go about this. We're going to start on this side of the room, from the first aisle, going back, sneak around from the back into the front. Yes, sir. Please state your name and address into the microphone.
David Leader, 1105 Huntington Avenue, Glendora. I notice that the mayor is not here. If the mayor stands to benefit financially after the sale goes through as a government liaison to townships and other government agencies, that's a conflict of interest. I'd like to see him here to say that I will not get any benefit from the sale of the sewer division. I didn't see Gabriella Mascara here. She is currently the director of the sewer utility, someone who probably has as much knowledge about what we're talking about today as anyone in this room. However, she's not present. I see that as a major oversight in your planning. And I didn't see any revised documentation regarding the non-compounding of the interest on the website. I looked for it, it's not there.
Mr. Leader, I have a document that was provided by New Jersey American Water that is not compounded. If anyone would like a copy of that, we will present that to anyone who wants it. I don't have it here, but we did receive that, and our legal counsel did receive that from American Water.
I'd rather not receive it. I'd rather see it publicly on the website.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else on this side that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, and I apologize for pointing my finger, folks.
Good evening. In this.
Can I have your name and address,
Oh,
please?
I'm sorry. I forgot.
No problem.
Sorry. Jean Marie Stano, 1617 Fairhill Place, Clementon. Okay, so in this agreement, it states that for the first 2 years, they are not going to increase our rates, but they're switching to monthly billing.
Yes,
Are they going to confirm that our monthly billing should be around $15 a month? Or are they going to continue to bill $46?
it'll be a monthly billing.
Oh, $46?
No, a monthly billing. They would, I would imagine, break it up to $15.
Okay, so then the first 5% increase in 2 years will be that 184 times 1.05%.
Yes,
And then 2% or whatever, up to 9% on top.
not compounded. So that 2% will be
Will be
going
on
back
top
to
of that, which-
the original 184.
So, and that is laid out in detail, that the monthly will not be the 46 a month. That 185 is the rate that we all pay for the first 2 years, and then the increase goes above that 184 a year.
That's correct. $46 is not going to be in their monthly account. For those individuals that do not have, for those that have American Water, so you'll have your sewer bill on top of the American Water. For those that are Aqua residents that receive Aqua Water, they're just going to receive a billing for the sewer utility.
Okay, will they detail that in the contract, or will they clarify that in writing, that 184 for the first 2 years, 5% on top of that, and then?
That's in their bid and also in our draft
But
agreement.
they didn't put an amount. They just said it won't increase, but it'll change the monthly. They didn't state that the yearly amount is 184. For some of us, pay it all at one time.
Okay.
So that should be stated in writing what we are paying currently.
Is that something, Ms. Sartor, we can?
So currently, the rate ordinance is an exhibit to the agreement, which has that, the current rate ordinance is an exhibit to the agreement, and so that includes what you're paying right now. So there is that baseline.
And is that available on the website with the contract?
It's with the contract.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that will change, just to add, I believe it's 184 that you pay per year.
Yes.
So that's quarterly, correct?
Yes.
So one thing that will change is when New Jersey American Water purchases the system, they propose to change it to a monthly billing.
So they should aggregate that 184 divided by 12, and that would turn and change.
Is there anyone, before Mr. X, sir, with a shirt, before, I jumped ahead and did not read the ordinance, but you'll be up, sir, with the American flag, okay? Ordinance 0-24-17, ordinance of the Township of Gloucester in the County of Camden, New Jersey, approving an agreement of sale between the Township and New Jersey American Water Company for the sale of the Township's wastewater collection and conveyance system, and authorizing the proposal to be printed on the ballot for consideration by the voters within the Township at the general election on November 5th, 2024, providing for the sale of the Township's wastewater system to New Jersey American Water. Now, sir, I'm sorry.
Good evening. Timothy Rodick, 96 Aberdeen Drive in Ariel, 27-year resident.
Good evening.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Simple as that. It doesn't get any, because this is not going to benefit the taxpayers, your constituents, the people that you work for. This has no benefit to us, period. 27 years as a resident, no problems. Now all of a sudden, we got this grandeur idea. Watch your spending, cut spending, keep it going. It's going great. Leave it be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the rows here? Okay. Ms. Henry.
Good evening, Dina Hendry, Summerdale.
Good evening.
A couple clarifying questions. In the agreement, it says that 20-something MUA employees, team members, would keep their jobs. Is there a time limit, or is like a guarantee that it's a 3-year or 5-year contract?
It indicates that up to 23 existing employees will be offered employment for up to 6 months Well, it'll be based on performance. Those that, if you're working for American Water, and I imagine if you continue to do a good job, they will most likely retain those individuals.
Okay, so, but yet we don't have a magic 8 ball to say all 23 would be employed past 6 months.
No, I don't have a magic 8 ball.
Okay, the other question I also have is, you stated that if there was a backup from the curb to the street, Public Works would take care of that.
That's correct. Cleanup, yes.
Are they aware of such things?
Those cleanouts. Well, they're being performed right now.
But the
And-
MUA is doing that,
So the sewer utility.
yes.
So there will be individuals that will be working in Public Works that will perform those cleanouts.
So how many total team members are in this sewer utility?
Do you have that, Chris, Ms. Eric? Well, there's 23 that are listed,
So those
23 on the sewer side.
Okay, so those 23 individuals would be employed by American Water, correct?
Employment will be offered up to 23 employees.
Okay, and if there is a backup from the curb to the street, then you said Public Works would take care of it, but not our members that are employed with American Water. So that's what I'm asking. The Public Works members that would take care of it, would they be qualified? And do they know that they would have additional responsibilities?
There's a likelihood, Ms. Hendry, that individuals that work for the sewer utility will move over to Public Works and do have that capability.
Okay.
American Water is not going to be doing cleanouts.
Okay, the other question I have is, when the desire to sell, there was questions about, did the sewer utility team members know about this desire? And it wasn't. Have they had a meeting about the intentions of what could happen if this goes through?
I don't know if the administration had a meeting with them. As council, we did not meet with them.
Can anybody from the administration confirm? Because I believe one of the team members requested multiple times, and I had, expressed that there should be a meeting. And up until now, there hasn't been a meeting from my understanding. So how can the sewer utility team members understand what's going on if there is no communication? I mean, transparency is a beautiful thing. And it should be that you guys and the mayor and whoever has a meeting with the sewer utility team members to let them know, saying, hey, this could be a probability.
I'll provide those thoughts to Mr. Cardis and Ms. Mosquera.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, last year in May of 23, when we had the meeting, knowing that it was going to be dissolved, it was specifically state that the dissolvement was polar opposite of the desire of privatization. What happened from May until the meeting that we had where you guys had the desire? Like, who came up with that idea? How did this idea transform?
So the comment about back in May, who made that comment?
I wrote it. That was going to be my next question. Councilman Hutchinson stated that the dissolution is directly the opposite of privatization of the MUA.
Okay. So after in late November and December, Mr. Cardis approached me and indicated to me about the possibility of exploring the sale of the sewer utility and wanted to see what the value of it was. And that's how we began the process.
Was there a workshop about it?
No.
So it was after election when you guys ran saying that you merged services to save the taxpayers' money. That's when the idea came?
No, it was in late November and December.
Which is after the election.
So in late November and December, Mr. Cardis approached me and had a conversation, said, let's explore the possibility.
And you were like, that's awesome, let's go for it? I'll go back. That's okay.
Let's find out the value. Thank you. Anyone else on this side? Mr. Eckstein.
Ira Eckstein,
I apologize, Mr. Eckstein. Good evening.
Glen Oaks. question was asked about the rate. It's gonna stay the same for the first 2 years. There gonna be anything added to that? Because when I get my water bill, there's another $10 to $15 tacked onto it for delivery and stuff like that.
Okay, Ms. Sartor, is there anything?
Not to my knowledge, they're adopting the rate that you're currently being charged. So if your bill every quarter is $46 per quarter, including everything, then that's what it would be for the next 2 to 3 years.
Is there a way to get clarification that there's not any delivery charges?
Yes, we can clarify. We can get a copy of the bill.
I mean, because I look at my water bill and there's extra charges. You know, it's just like, you know, if you got a Comcast bill where the mayor used to work, there's 98 different charges extra on it. Okay, so,
We'll provide a sample bill.
all right. Originally, when the township decided to take over the MUA, whose idea was that,
To dissolve it?
to dissolve?
Well, that was a conversation from the administration.
Who?
Administration, the mayor's office, Mr. Cardis.
So was the mayor involved in that?
Well, the entire township was involved with it. Also, we received a resolution from the MUA commissioners, also agreeing to dissolve the MUA.
Well, if the mayor was involved with the dissolving the MUA, but now he's not involved in the sale of it,
He cannot be involved in it.
but he can be involved in, because it just seems like there's no,
Can we please not have shouting from the audience, please? Please continue, sir.
I don't know, it just seems like a conflict of interest where all of a sudden, I gotta believe that when this whole thing came up to dissolve the MUA, there were two things that were looked at. One, you wanted the $6 million excess surplus, whatever you want to call it. Two, once you got that, now it's time to sell it.
So where did the $6 million go back to, Mr. Eckstein? They went back into tax relief.
Why am I
I'm
taxing?
sorry, there was a decrease last year in your taxes. And
$10?
this year was 4 cents, okay? So when you say that's where the $6 million went, and there's still there is roughly 3 million remaining? Correct, thank you.
So if there's $2 million remaining, why didn't
3
we have
million,
3 million?
3 million.
When did we get it back? Why didn't you decrease our taxes more than 4 cents?
Well, there's gonna be an opportunity to decrease our taxes if we move forward with this sale. Well,
How much?
I can't provide a dollar amount of what that would be.
What?
I don't put a budget together. That comes from the administration. But if the possible sale goes through, there's elimination of all debt and the elimination of $9 million in debt service that takes place annually.
$9 million of debt service that you
That's
guys
correct.
created.
Okay, and who enjoys those services?
What services?
No services?
No, I said what service?
What services? So if there's streets and sidewalks that are being repaired, if there's capital improvement projects, if there's recreation for our children, if there's a senior citizen bus, if our citizens are being protected by our police department, if we have public works that's picking up things who are taking care of our town and maintaining our town, that's where everything goes towards, sir. Thank you, Mr. Eckstein. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak on this side? Yes, Miss.
I have no plans to speak tonight. My name is Kimberly Cavanaugh.
Hi, Kimberly, how are
I
you?
live right over here in Glen Oaks, right behind you guys here.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of questions, and I agree with some of the things that have been said tonight. One of which is there is definitely a conflict of interest. But let's go past that. I want it in writing from American Water because I get my bill as well. And there are 4 or 5 other charges. One of the other things that need to be looked at, not just delivery charges, but they do, if you're at 10 gallons, it's a delivery charge of this. If you're at 20 gallons, it's another delivery charge of this. So they do 5 or 6 delivery charges. So we need to clarify that so that we aren't ending up paying a lot more than what we pay right now. And I agree with, if it's not broke, I've been here more than 33 years. I've never had an issue with my sewage, knock on wood. If I've had any issues, call the sewage department, they come over, they help us out. That will not happen when it's prioritized. I've lived in other states, I've lived in other towns within the state of New Jersey, and it doesn't happen. I don't understand how you don't consider it to be a monopoly when you have your water company now being your sewage company as well. Most townships, most states never let that happen because it is a monopoly. They get to then determine whatever they want to do, and there's nothing to stop them. Yes, I understand that we have our boards in the state of New Jersey that go through things. My brother-in-law used to work for South Jersey Gas, so I get all that. But in general, they want a rate increase, they're getting a rate increase. And we, the people of the township, have to then eat that cost. Then you were talking about services. To say that we are benefiting the $6 million or the $3 million that are left into services and that our taxes are going down, I have both my taxes bills sitting in my home right now. My taxes didn't go down. They didn't go down last year either. My taxes have consistently gone up every year that I have been here for 33 years. It's a little less. When I first started, it was $800 a year that it went up for 3 years in a row. Now it's about $300 and some dollars. But as I age, and as a lot of our, no offense, as we are all aging, our wages aren't going up, our Social Security doesn't go up, but all of these things go up. I came to apply for a break from this township for my husband who served our country in the military. And what I was told, he's not entitled because he did not serve in a war. My husband served our country, whether he served in a war or not. My husband's life was in jeopardy every single day that he was in the service because of his clearance and what he did for the service. So it's things like that that makes us as citizens of this township get very frustrated.
Ms. Cameron, was that for a veterans deduction? That,
For on the taxes, it's like $250 a year. And we were denied because he did not serve in the Korean War, World War I, World War II. There was another one, I don't remember what the other one was.
Ms. Kavanaugh, Ms. Arrett, and also Mr. Carlmer had indicated that is a state statute.
That's not township, that's managed through the state.
Then I think that the wording needs to be provided to us citizens differently. You can't say that you give a break for someone who has military service when it's definitely specified into a group that's this big. It needs to be worded differently because that's not, you're then telling people that you're giving something when you're really not giving that to them. So
We'll look
I
into
really
that.
want to see that in writing, what the breakdown will be.
Delivery charges and sample bill. Okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Kavanaugh. Is there anyone else on this side? Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening, Council. Ray Polidoro from the Historic Village of Ariel.
Good evening.
I'd rather speak from the hip than read notes, but I had to make some notes and bear with me. I hope I don't go over 5 minutes. Hope you use a little leniency if so. So what I heard tonight is that Tom Cardis was the startup of this idea to get this rolling, yet Tom Cardis is not here tonight. Can he conference call in or maybe answer some questions? What made him think this was a good idea?
No, he had a previously planned vacation.
Okay. You also said that the MUA commissioners approached the township and that they thought this was a good idea. Is that
They did not
the
approach-
conversation?
Mr. Polidoro, I didn't say they approached the township.
There was a conversation to which they
There was a
approved and you
conversation
agreed.
that took place and all commissioners unanimously voted to dissolve the MUA.
Okay. Now, who appoints those commissioners?
They were appointed by council and mayor.
Which one?
The MUA council appointed.
Council appointments. Okay. Just checking to see how the relationship continues to move on. The 9% increase that you're believing that the NJ Public Board of Utilities will have, I didn't hear any amount of certainty with that, and I can understand why. 9% at any one given time. I don't think that went well in Haddonfield and in Belmar, which was 50% and 45%, which has been brought up plenty of times. So I don't believe that 9% is going to hold water. But let's go with
The
the
9% is in the contract, sir, for the first 5 years.
It was in the contract for them as well, I
No,
believe.
it's 9%.
Okay, let's see that happen. Okay,
No, it's 9% total.
all right. So if this is approved, it'll go to the referendum. And let's find out if the people know exactly what they're voting for. I'm sure you guys will have a campaign. I'm sure there'll be things arriving at people's mailbox. I'm sure you'll talk to the seniors and you'll let them know the sky is falling unless they do this. But let's just deal with basic numbers, real simple numbers. The simple numbers is that New Jersey American Water is going to give this township $143 million for our sewage system. Then you have a capital improvements of $90 million. If that adds up correctly, that's $233 million that New Jersey American Water will put out. If you take a look at, let's say for some reason the stockholders and New Jersey American Water are feeling very generous and they don't want to make a profit on their investment. Let's just say. At that cost, if you break that down by 25,000 ratepayers in Gloucester Township, the $46 per month sewage bill, and this is just flat amount, and if I'm wrong, tell me, $78 per month. $78 per month from a $46 per quarter. That's simple math. That's
How many years? How many years?
How many?
Yeah.
Well, it'll go up from there,
Obviously,
obviously.
your math.
10 years.
Okay.
10 years. And again, we're saying, assuming that the stockholders at New Jersey American Water are feeling generous. They don't want to make a profit. Now, I did fail to mention that did not include operating costs. Operating costs, let's say the number is pretty close to an additional $20 a month per ratepayer for them to send people out and do their job. That takes that $46 per quarter bill and makes it $98 a month. Just under $100 a month for your sewer. Okay? Now, for someone like myself who pays Aqua to bring the clean water in, I'll be paying New Jersey American Water $100 a month, then I got to pay Camden County. It's an expensive flush of the toilet there. It just is. Now, let's just say, in a fairly perfect world, a business-minded world, that the stockholders of New Jersey American Water are interested in making a 20% profit over 10 years. They may be entitled to that. That's what business does. If they do that, you're taking us up to approximately $118 a month for our sewer. Those are numbers. And I would ask you, am I wrong? I gave you the numbers. If you wrote them down, do the math with me. Am I wrong?
I like to see your math in writing, sir, when you have a chance.
You should have wrote it down because these are
No, I was
important
just listening
figures.
to you. But go ahead.
All right, let's do this, Mr. Mercado, with all due respect. $233 million, 25,000 ratepayers. That's it, without operating costs. $78 a month. Add operating costs, about $20 a month. It's $98 a month. Add another 20 in case they want to make a profit. The stockholders, they get funny about that stuff. $118 a month. Now, whoever's idea it was to dissolve, and you guys promised us you weren't going to sell it when we asked originally. That didn't go so well for,
Thank you, Mr. Polidoro.
you're not gonna let me finish my thoughts, make me wait.
We're gonna be respectful to everyone, Mr. Polidoro. There are other people who like to speak. Thank
All
you.
right.
Does anyone else like to speak on this side? We'll start from the back. Man with the glasses. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sandy Brooks. I live in
Hi, Ms. Brooks.
Glen Oaks. Did you ever consider that the mayor has a conflict of interest in New Jersey American Water? I mean, that didn't think that that would be like a red flag for the taxpayers to think, and it just gives it impropriety type of, if an impropriety, that the mayor has a managerial position, a pretty high position with New Jersey American Water. Nobody thinks that would be something as a red flag to the taxpayers to think, oh, come on now. I mean,
Ms. Brooks, the mayor was not involved in any of these conversations.
but just the
But-
whole,
But I'm just saying, the mayor was not involved with this conversation. 17 years ago, a former mayor had a conversation with a water company about dissolving the MUA. That conversation, and wanted to establish a committee at that time. And there was people in this room that advocated for the dissolvement of the MUA at that time. And that was not going to go to a vote. That was a conversation with a representative of a water company. And there are some people who've attended this meeting over the years that they're well aware of that meeting that took place. So this is an opportunity for the residents. It's on the ballot. If they want it, if they don't want it, they vote no. If they want it, they put yes. And there'll be an explanation on the ballot as well. But the mayor has not been involved in any discussions of this sale.
why did they want to know the value of the MUA? Just like, do you want to know the value of everything in the town? Like what that building over there is worth, what this building's worth for standing in? I mean, why did they just want to clearly just like, yeah, what's the value of the MUA?
It was deemed an asset, that it's an asset for the town.
Do they do that for every town asset? Are they doing it for? Trying to find the value?
There's parcels of land that the township owns that we have sold. Do you see signs where there's economic development opportunities for people to purchase those things? Yes.
What happens when they spend this millions of dollars if they sell it from the New Jersey American Water? And that money, they go through that, not, was it 93 million or something? What if they go through the 143 million that they are going to pay for it, to pay off? I know what you're saying you're going to use it for, but then once that money is used to pay off loans and so forth and other activities, what else are we going to have to wind up selling to, instead of just cutting things back?
Are you saying,
Spending.
you saying the town?
Yeah, what, once, what are we gonna,
So-
where are we gonna keep getting money for? Keep selling things instead of, and which are things that are worth value to the town and for the taxpayers. Why, we keep selling things off?
Well, this provides an opportunity to eliminate all the debt. It alleviates the current $9 million in annual debt service that we pay for that debt. It will provide tax relief, a reduction of the municipal tax. On your taxes, every dollar that you pay, 31 cents is the township. You have 2 school districts, the county, and fire. So 31 cents of your dollar that you pay, will be a tax reduction on the township's portion of the tax bill. It'll stabilize our taxes and reset our tax rate. And we'll be able to reallocate our tax dollars, provide capital improvement projects, and work on our infrastructure that's aging throughout our township. So that is how I envision where these dollars will go towards.
Right, I see that, but I'm saying is that we're spending more than we bring in, and we don't wanna raise taxes, that after a while, we're gonna eat through this money and give, you gotta stop spending money and spend what shit, like at home. I can't spend more money than we bring in to run my home, and that's how we all are, or then you're in debt, and then you just have it snowball. One last thing I just want to point out, I've been to a lot of board meetings, and I don't know if you realize you do this, but whenever they say about spending money and overspending, every time unless they blame the police they're the ones that eat the money, like people in the offices don't get paid, other areas. I come up from a family of officers, and it's kind of insulting all the time. It's always like, the last meeting I was at, it was like, they blame the police, like they're the only ones collecting a salary. Now we're in bargaining with the police, and it's like, I think most of the people here are union that work here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you?
Well, who is blaming the police, Ms. Brooks? No, absolutely not.
I absolutely disagree.
Absolutely
You'll
not.
say,
Ms. Brooks, absolutely. Ms. Okay.
the meeting that I went to, it was last year, we had a meeting.
Last year?
Yeah, I was at a meeting, I come to meetings periodically. Maybe you don't do it at the other meetings, and it just so happens when I'm at the meeting. It's a red flag for me because, like I said, I have a lot of officers in my family, but I know that most of you, probably in every other township, they're union workers that work in your offices as well. They belong to a union. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you could find the date of that video, I'd love to see that. If you
But
could.
absolutely, but
I can find.
That'd be great.
Ms. Brooks, perhaps when there is a discussion about the budget and how much is earmarked towards that particular department, but no, no one is disparaging the police department here. Absolutely
I didn't
not.
say disparage people.
Okay.
You just
We're
blame-
blaming. There's no blaming on the police department either. I think we all like to feel safe here in our town, and we provide them with the tools and resources to keep us all safe here.
I appreciate everything they do, but I'm just saying, there's other areas where there's people that are belong in unions and employ that we have to pay them too.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Brooks. Is anyone else on the side? Mr. Palmer?
Good evening, Dennis Palmer, 10 Braemar Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Palmer.
Thank you. A couple of questions. Going through the bid, first thing is the post-bid amendment or change or clarification. I'm curious what DCA would say to that. I mean, I brought it in the first place on clarifying because Aqua looked like, not only looked like, apparently they did the math and followed what they thought. So I just have a question. My mind is, I question what DCA would say about a post-bid change. Moving on to further, the other comment I had was dealing with the billing. Again, we billed flat. So I have a house, I get billed for a house. Will the contract continue that practice? Or will it start implementing billing off the water meter? Because let's face it, how hot it's been, many people are watering the lawns. If you start billing off the water meter, like they do in many other towns, if you look at the rate structure, first thing I think you'll put landscapers or do irrigation out of business because no one's going to pay a sewer bill. It's not equitable that if you use water for your lawn, your garden, and fill in your pool, because most people lower the pool in the winter and add to it in the springtime, none of that water goes to the sewer system. So when it comes to fairness and equity, the billing should continue as it continues. Right now, the rate structure set up is it's built on a unit. Your question about, I have a difficulty with the township taking the money and giving it to taxpayers because taxpayers and ratepayers aren't the same. You're going to transfer the burden that's been placed on taxpayers by the bonding, by putting onto ratepayers or sewer payers. So you're going to take it onto churches, parochials, other schools, things that are nonprofits who don't pay taxes. They don't get the benefit of you lowering taxes. They are going to get the benefit of a higher sewer bill. And I think that's not fair or equitable either as you go through this process. Those are serious issues that need to be addressed, that need to be now. The issue comes down also to the great disparity in costs. If you look at the audits over the year, the infrastructure was about 50 million. Aqua put in 52 million. And there's issues dealing with the benefit. There's a benefit when a company takes over a good faith effort. It looked, as I said, like gild the lily is not really the right thing, but it certainly added a lot to the New Jersey American, where the price is such a huge disparity. Like there was no good faith being put forward by New Jersey American, which is, even in business, you talk about good faith. And it's just, the good faith isn't there. And that's a huge number. You're going to take that plus the 90 million, which is another surprising infrastructure number, since we only looked at about 50 million or 25 million in the Aqua. And the township authority's own capital plan was only 21 million. where is all this pipeline, where is all this money gonna go? And you, again, transfer, we look at the rate structure that was set up in Haddonfield and Barrington, and they were looking at 40 and 50% increases. They're looking at $44 a month. I see us well approaching beyond that number. The average for New Jersey Americans is $50 across the state. But I'm really concerned for all those who have a lawn, a garden, a pool, or other water use. If it goes to a water meter reading, that's totally unfair. The last comment I have is, Mr. Orlando, in the bid document, does the township get free sewer for the municipal buildings and all the other buildings?
Yes, for a time period of 2 years.
Well, the money that you're going to get out of the sale really shouldn't go to the township. It should go to the ratepayers. They're the ones who paid for decades, since 1960s, to build the system. They paid for the operation. They paid for the capital that's out there. And if the township gets 2 years free, how about the ratepayers? Should we get a rebate? And I'll pass another 50 seconds on Ms. Palidoro, if you don't mind, but that's the comment I have. The money is going to flow to your treasury. But you didn't earn it. You didn't pay for it. You didn't put the money in the first place. Ratepayers, that's why ratepayers are the taxpayers. You got the new apartments just going down by Blackwood School, just got occupied, barely paying a sewer bill. You have the brand new ones that are going down by the outlets. They haven't paid any sewer bill. But if this money goes to tax decreases, they're going to get a benefit of something they paid nothing into or very little. The ratepayers are the ones who deserve the money. They deserve a rebate. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Take care.
Good evening, Barry Salvatoriello, Hickstown Road, Siglerville.
Good evening, Barry.
Just a couple of things. One, I'm going to piggyback onto Dina. We were absolutely told at the meeting last year in 23 that there was no intention, once we switched from MUA to Sewer Authority. We were told that there was no intention of selling it because that was everybody's concern. And if you go and pull back the tapes from then, you will see that that was everybody's concern, that we were looking to sell. Second, when I was here at the last meeting 2 months ago, I asked if an audit or how much the MUA generates for the township, and I was told, well, we didn't do an audit. We would have to do an audit to find that out. How could we consider selling something when we don't even know what it generates for the township? Just a point for Mr. Cordes when he comes back, or if he's watching this, he knows that. We talked about a 9% increase after 2 years. What's two, and I know that's total over 3 years, so roughly
Over 5 years.
Well, all right, so 9% over 5 years, but I thought there was no increase for the first 2 years.
That's correct.
Okay, and then 9% compounded.
Not compounded.
Not compounded, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. What is the increase looking like after that 5 years? Because everything I'm seeing from everything that I'm reading, we're seeing 30, 40, 50% increases that people are seeing in their bills. Is there something, and you're the attorney that negotiated this, and I don't know your name, I'm so sorry, but is there anything to protect the residents from some ridiculous increase the first year that this is all done?
There is, there's the DPU, the Board of Public Utilities, where the utility needs to propose what any proposed rate increase needs to be applied for by New Jersey American or any utility company. They go before the board with periodic rate cases, I believe it's every
What board?
2 years.
The Board of Public Utilities.
For Gloucester Township or the state?
State.
Okay. So they're semi-protected, but the other increases have all gone through, so I don't foresee anything stopping it here.
What increases are you speaking of? You said you saw an increase of.
When I'm reviewing the increases that all these other towns have gotten,
You're not down in mind, just.
I'm just speaking in general of the increases, whether I look at Haddonfield, whether I look at Cherry Hill or whatever town, and I'm just picking towns at this point because I don't remember everything I read. I'm pretty good though. And I'm gonna have to start writing things down because I do kind of forget things as far as what I want to ask.
That's fine.
And I'd like to shoot from the hip. Keeps you guys on your toes. So was an audit done of the MUA and what it generated? What it generates in revenue for the township?
You would ask that you were going to ask Mr. Cardis about.
Well, I asked about that, but was it done? Would any of you know if that was done prior to the sale or proposed sale and accepting bids?
No.
And does anybody, I'm listening to the numbers that we're using here tonight. 56 million, $143 million. That's night and day. What did one company know that another one doesn't? Just my thought is like, those are just ridiculous numbers. That's a variance that's insane. And why would one be so much lower? Because they had to have the same information to look at to come up with what their bids were.
I can't speak on that. I know there was 3 utilities that were interested, that were Ms. Sartor was fielding questions, and Mr. Cardis from 3 different utility companies. There was a third one, Veolia, that was also involved as well. That's a North Jersey and a global water utility. So I'm not sure. That's a question for Aqua.
I mean, I can't believe the people that work for Aqua that work out their bids to buy MUAs and sewer authorities are that much more stupid than New Jersey, whatever the name of the company is that came in with that high bid. That's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Is there anyone else on this side? Ms. Coyne, followed by Lady. Thank you. Sir, you'll be with the, okay, that you'll be there. Okay.
I lost a little weight.
Okay.
Denise Coyne, Hughes Landing. The gentleman that was just up here was asking about any protections after the 5 years, because after the 5 years, it's game on. You guys no longer have any control, and we have absolutely no control of our sewer because we no longer own it. So here's a notice of filing from New Jersey American Water to the Board of Public Utilities for their rate increase in 2024. And it refers to townships that their 5-year protections or 10-year protections or whatever their protections were now up. So for example, on page 4 of this document, Haddonfield's increase was going up 50.34%. Mount Ephraim's increase was 45.08%. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Nash.
Are they proposed or are they finalized?
They were approved.
They are approved.
I'm pretty sure I saw in the Courier Post they were approved.
Yeah, because I saw they were proposed.
So after 5 years, there's no protections for the residents. And I go on Facebook and I see every day people complaining about their utility bills and how they can't afford to pay them because they've gone up so much and so dramatically that they just don't know what to do. And they're going to be adding their sewer bill to that list. Our bills will no longer be a stable $46 a quarter. If they go up these percentages on top of 9% after 5 years, on top of New Jersey American Water getting back their $90 million that they're going to put into our system, according to them, all that money that they're giving you is going to come from us. We will pay that money back. And the reality is all the money that we will end up paying back isn't going to fix the problem that this township has. The problem this township has is overspending and overborrowing. That the residents can fix by electing new representation. If you sell our sewer, that's a done deal. We cannot do anything about that. It's gone. We cannot get it back. Forever, it's a done deal. And a major concern of mine is the lack of transparency that there's been throughout this whole process. And I find it really hard to believe that if you guys were really trying to do something that was phenomenally good for this township, you would not have screamed it from the rooftops. You've had no council workshop meetings. There's been no information sent out to the public about this whole deal. We were misled previously. We were told that there was no intentions to sell the sewer. We were told that You were only trying to figure out what the asset was worth when the same night that resolution that you introduced and approved said the desire to sell. Council desires to sell. It did not say council desires to assess the value. It said council desires to sell. But that is not what we were told at that meeting. So it's very concerning to me that there's been a lack of transparency and accountability. It's also very concerning to me that 2 of our representatives are not here tonight. Mr. Cardis is also not here tonight, yet you said he was the one that, came up with this whole deal. He's not here. This is the public hearing before you all vote to put this on the ballot. Our representatives aren't here. Mr. Carlemere's not here. Mr. Cardis isn't here. And where has been the transparency to the public? The residents have had community meetings to inform people about what's going on. That's why there's people in this room, because of us. Not because of you, but because of us. I also sent a letter to every single council member, to the mayor, to Mr. Cardis, to Mr. Carlemere on July the 10th. I've yet to receive an answer. Why did nobody answer me? You're supposed to represent me. I had valid questions. I never got an answer. Why?
What were those questions, Ms. Coyne?
You got my email.
Can you refresh my memory? What were those
Yes,
questions?
the questions had to do with the bid.
Do you want to ask those questions now?
No, the clerk has a copy of my email. Every single person here received it.
What was the date?
July the 10th. I never got an answer from a single person. The other thing we never got an answer on was whether or not Dave Mayer is going to get a bonus from the sale of our sewer system to New Jersey American Water. We were told that you don't know. That's not an acceptable answer.
Ms. Coyne, I don't know. We do not know. We
Okay.
do not work for
The
American
residents
Water.
deserve to know.
Ms. Coyne, thank you for your time.
The residents deserve to know.
I'm sorry. Just one behind me. We'll be after the gentleman in the black hat. Okay.
Hi, Jessica Blackwood. Hey, Jim. We have fun on the internet together.
Oh,
All right, first things first. Me and Jim, we've had some conversations about the rate increases. He says there's no evidence as to the rate increases and how much they'll be in New Jersey because everything's just proposed. I brought up the graph to him of Pennsylvania and how the rate increases there were in Shelton Borough. They had 149% increase. In, let's see, Gloucester Township, they had 167% increase. They went from $43 to $114. And there's a bunch of other ones. I can email you this.
yes. And can you give me the time period, the time frame of
Well,
those?
this is from the Inquirer. I can actually send you the article that it came from.
Yes,
And
please.
I could give it to you right now. Walk up there and give it to you. The point is, so there's 167 increase. There's Caneboro Municipal Authority in Pennsylvania that went from $50 a month to $113 a month, which is 123% increase. And a bunch of other towns on here that you'll get to see. He says that they don't matter because it's in Pennsylvania and not New Jersey. But we all know that American Water is a corporation that goes across 24 states in this country. They're headquartered in Camden, New Jersey. They work here where they're doing new acquisitions. They work in PA, they work in Hawaii, they work in California. So it would make sense to go off of other states because it is a corporation like a Walmart to decide how it will affect your township. My proposition to him, and he said, bring it up to you, is maybe wait. Our MUA isn't going anywhere. Our debt isn't going anywhere. Wait 5 to 10 years. See how it works out in Haddonfield. See how it works out in these other townships. See if it benefits them, and then decide what's best for the residents. That's my first thing. 3 minutes. My second thing, a Patch article that released today was quoted saying, if the referendum passes in Gloucester Township, New Jersey American Water will execute the sale. The process typically takes about 6 months with closing estimated for the end of June 2025, Marcato said. But if the referendum fails, the sale won't happen, quote, unless council decides to commence a new procurement process in the future, Marcato said. I would like you to elaborate what that means.
A question was asked at the last meeting, an EGOV question. That's when people send an email in because they can't attend the meeting. And that question was asked, if this fails, is there another opportunity? Can you go out again? There is an option to go out again if this fails. That was me addressing that question.
So it has nothing to do with the fact that there's only 2 ways to sell an MUA in New Jersey. One is to leave it up to the voters. And the second way is to decide that there's so many physical and financial disrepair that you can't handle that you need to file the emergency form with New Jersey to just move ahead with it without the votes. Which, I mean, it seems like you could do that since you acquired the public utility. You put someone in charge that isn't communicating with the workers. You've taken their surplus and spent half of it. You take whatever capital that they're getting now. I mean, I don't expect you to answer, but I want everybody to hear it. And
No, finish. I don't know where you're going with that. Where are you going with
they
it?
know where I'm going with it. 1 minute left.
Well, if you could articulate that, then you'd appreciate it.
Excuse me, I want to do my last minute.
Okay, not a problem.
He sent me how it will benefit
Who is he?
Jim Nash.
Mr. Nash.
He sent me how it will benefit the employees because I said I am fighting for them because I'm fighting for union workers, Teamsters workers to have health benefits for their children and careers and pension credits, all things they've worked for well over a decade. He sent me what this bidder thing is, which is the bidder will be required to offer employment to up to 23 employees of the township's existing wastewater employees. The employee must be offered a position of similar job duties along with equal or better pay and salary and benefits that are consistent with the buyer's standard wage and benefit package in a geographic vicinity of Gloucester Township. Employment shall be offered subject to township personnel satisfying pre-employment physical screening requirements. So, I mean, it's not a guarantee if they get hired, it's if they pass the physical. And the buyer shall offer full-time employment for a minimum period of 6 months from the commencement of service date, as long as the township personnel perform the duties to satisfactory abilities. So they went from having a career with pensions and credits, something they could retire with after 25 years of service working with our waste, and they're going to go to a private sector company where their pension credits will go up in the air. They're only guaranteed 6 months of employment. They're only guaranteed whatever the health benefits is offered through the company and not the health benefits that they've been getting here.
In the bid
Zero.
response, it indicated they will honor the union contracts. Thank you very much for your time. Yes,
For
sir.
6 months.
My name's Tony Gennaro. I live in Blackwood, 245 Stetzer Avenue.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
First, I'd like to say, I used to enjoy watching politicians. I don't do it anymore. And I'm not involved in politics because of the fact that politicians have stopped fighting for us and most have fight for their own agenda. Now, I'm not saying you guys are doing that. I don't know any of you personally, and I don't believe you have that ulterior motive. However, saying that, the MUA had a surplus. That means it was running correctly. Why was it dissolved? That's number one. Number two, again, if you're running in a surplus from a business point of view, why would you want to sell something that is working? Again, if it wasn't broke, don't fix it. Taking into consideration that American Water wants to buy it, it must be equitable. It must be profitable. There must be a reason behind it. It isn't just that one man's going to get something in his pocket, which we don't know about. It isn't that the council is going to benefit. Because again, you guys are supposed to fight for us. The majority of the people in this room do not want the MUA sold. The majority of the taxpayers here that are residents that own property don't want it sold. If you put this on a ballot, how many people will vote not knowing exactly what they're voting for that live in apartments, that don't pay taxes, that don't pay a sewer bill, that don't pay a water bill? I'm trying to figure out why we not only have to pay a water bill, but we have to pay a sewer bill to our MUA and also a sewer bill to Camden County, when a lot of other municipalities in the state of New Jersey don't. Have any of you ever lived in a facility or in a municipality where American Water is? Please raise your hand if you have.
I've lived here for 25 years.
You've lived here.
I've had American Water and I've had Aqua.
You, again, providing your water, correct? But not
sewer.
your sewer. Now, again, we talk about our sewer department. We don't really have a processing plant here, do we? No, we have a collection system. And the collection system we have is a series of pump stations. It takes my waste from your waste and your waste, and it puts it to a pump station. That pump station pushes it uphill or downhill, whether it's gravity fed or not. And ultimately, it ends up in Camden County, where it's processed. We don't have that here, but our MUA was profitable. When I had an issue at Christmas time last year, I called the MUA. They came right out and took care of me.
Was that a clean out, sir?
Yes, it was.
That clean out will still be performed by the township.
Again.
Was it at no cost to you?
Yes, it was at no cost.
No, it'll be at no cost to the residents. No, we'll continue.
Do we have this in writing?
No, I'm telling you that, that's from the township.
Well,
We're gonna provide that.
again, Mr. Mercado,
Okay.
we don't know each other personally.
No, Bob.
So I have
I'm
to take
telling
you at your word.
I'm in a room full of people and I'm on a live stream here.
Okay, but
And
again,
I'm telling you
what's written,
that we're gonna continue to provide those clean outs.
and I'm under the impression
At
that
no
what's written
cost.
is golden and
At
what's
no
verbal is
cost to the
bullshit.
residents, okay?
Again, this is what I want to see. Again, everybody has talked about rate increases. I didn't have the time to really research a lot today. And notes that I did take, actually in my other pants, was I got home from work at 12:15 and I had to rush over here. So I apologize if I'm going a little bit faster.
That's fine.
Now, I have seen American Water take over facilities. I have seen what they've done. I don't want to get into what I do in my private life or where I work, because that has no bearing on where I am here. But only the knowledge that I do contain about American Water. Now, we are paying them for our water, or whoever Aqua supplies some of the other water to the township. But again, we have no control over how much they increase our sewer bills. And that's a lot of our concerns, the service and the profitability. I mean, if it's worth what was it? How many $1 million?
143.
If it's worth $143 million now, what could it be worth 5 years from now? Maybe it'll be worth more. Again, we were told, or my wife and my father-in-law, God rest his soul, has told me that when they started charging for the MUA, it was supposed to be a temporary thing. We were told that when they opened the outlet malls, that we were going to get a tax break. Then at one meeting, we were told, well, our taxes didn't go up that high because we benefited from that. It's got to come down to you guys fighting for us. You know, we're telling you what we want. Again, I don't know why this room isn't filled. It should have been. I mean, I had time to get home, get changed, and come here. And, you know, I hate to say it, guys, but, you know, you're supposed to fight for us. You're supposed to fight for the people that can't speak up for themselves. When I was in the Marine Corps, I fought for people that couldn't fight for themselves. And I want you to take care of us, because that's what we're asking you to do.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Philip Kraft. I live on Lehigh Avenue in Blackwood.
Hello, Mr. Kraft.
Yeah, originally came to Blackwood, buy a small house. I was going to move on. That was 1985. I'm still here. And the past dictates the future. I've been coming here, not very often, but I agree with the last guy. You guys have to start fighting for us. I'm highly disappointed our mayor's not here and other people. It's like going to a parent-teachers conference and the teacher's not there. It's ludicrous. And as for the mayor being involved in this, that really upsets me because, you know, I was told our cable system was going to be upgraded, allow some other bidders to come in, and it's still exactly the same. We're getting bled dry all the time from the cable, which has nothing to do with this. But I really think this is going to be similar. You have a 9-year agreement. I was in my 20s when I bought my house. I don't look like I'm 20 anymore, do I? Okay, this is my point. You guys have to watch out for us. Otherwise, sometimes it's difficult to fire you guys because of the wording and all. But you guys have to start looking out for the number one people, us. And I'm really hoping when this comes down to being worded, it's yes, we want to sell it, or no, we don't want to. Because in the past, you guys have done things where you worded it where if we didn't like it, we had to vote yes, which is ludicrous. It's either yes, meaning we want it, or no, we don't want it. And I'm hoping you put it on the ballot that way.
Mr. Kraft, on that billboard is in the paper in front of you. If you can grab that, the ordinance is there, and it has the question, and it has the explanation underneath it. And that's what will be reflected on the ballot.
And I'm kind of disappointed you guys don't realize what's going to happen in the long run. You know, I play Monopoly with the kids. I grab that utility because if you get a 10 or doubles a 12, I'm going to hammer you for $120. And that's what's going to happen to us. I feel that's exactly what's going to happen. Because like I said before, keep bringing up Comcast. That was supposed to be really affordable. You guys sat up there years and years ago and said, it's going to be, I'm paying over $200 a month for basic cable.
Yeah.
Basic cable. And they got more things. You know, if the guy drives down the street and looks at my house, I get a surcharge. I mean, some of the things on the bill are just mind-boggling, like some of the other people had said. It's amazing how they can justify all these costs. And I agree with the other guy. If it's worth this now, what can it possibly be worth in the future? And it must be working good because you're building homes like crazy along College Drive, across from Penco Tech, all that crap and literally, all that crap's going somewhere. So it must be working. Everything's working well. And why you're changing something that works is beyond me. But like I said, you really have to start looking out for us. All this, I kind of hate to use the word double talk, but it's kind of double talk to me. You guys got to look out for us. Because now I'm here almost 40 years. And it's still the same thing. And if the mayor's involved with it, this particular mayor, you know, how he got Comcast in here and no other competition, extremely disappointing he doesn't think about us. Somebody's doing something and it's not going in my pocket.
Mr. Kraft.
I'm disappointed.
Mr. Kraft, I just want to correct something. Comcast was here before the mayor was employed with them. Verizon, and everyone wants to bring up Verizon. Verizon didn't want to lay down any fiber down here, and they decided to go in other directions with their business model. If anyone at XYZ Cable Company wanted to come in here, XYZ Cable Company can come in here. There is not a non-exclusive contract with Comcast. That keeps being floated around over and over again over the years. And I guess it's just low-hanging fruit for people to say, to pull on that.
The mayor would kind of like promote it a little bit. Just promote it a little bit. Because like I said, when I moved here, the Walt Whitman Bridge, they're going to charge for a short time. As soon as that bridge is paid for, we're not going to get charged that toll anymore. What can I tell you? I'm kind of a Doubting Thomas anymore. So, like I said, you guys have to fight for us. You know, we pay a little bit, and like you said, that surplus, and we get a 14 cents. I mean, some of the things, like I said, you can go around and I see people following the postman to find out if he's doing his job well. We need to start following people around to find out if we can save money, a little bit here, a little bit there for us. Because like I said, I'm not 20 anymore. And now I'll have the income I used to have. So I'm really hoping you guys watch out for us.
So one quick thing I'd like to add. So what we're voting on today is to put it onto the agenda, or the ballot in November, so that the entire population of Gloucester Township can vote. 65,000. So that's all we're doing, so that everyone in the town, not just this room, 65,000 residents have a voice. It's democracy. That's what we're voting on. We're not saying yes or no. We're saying, is it going to be on the ballot for the people to decide?
I'm really hoping that's the case.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft.
Doesn't seem like that many people showed up. Look at this.
Mr.
I can
Kraft.
sell hot dogs out front and get more people to come in than this.
Okay.
Which is embarrassing.
Thank
You
you,
guys
Mr.
get
Kraft.
promoted enough.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Soto Munoz. I've been in Gloucester Township for many years, since 1992. I bought my first home in Valley Brook. I live now in Ariel, New Jersey. I've been there for over 20 years. I'm here to represent all the people that are not sitting in the chairs, beginning with the elderly, the senior citizens that are on fixed income, the retired people, single moms and struggling single dads, people who earn under 6 figures, young couples and first-time home buyers, okay? People that rent, because the people that rent to them are renting homes that cost just as much as homes, and they have to pay that sewer bill. So I thank you for the wonderful jobs you do. I'm not accusing you of anything, but I want to bring something to your conscience, which is that right at this time, the economy is crazy. And I understand that there are things that you feel that we cannot afford to do, and this is why you want to make these moves. I have some brilliant propositions that I will share in the end. Food is almost 30% more, if you haven't noticed. If you're a woman or a man that goes food shopping, you realize we can't buy the food we used to buy. We have to clip coupons, pinch pennies, go without certain things because we can't afford it. I live in a small rancher in Ariel, very small. My daughter, who bought a home in Clementona, had to sell it and move in with me. She just cannot afford the rents. The rents cost just as much as owning a home. I don't know if you realize this. The bridge is going to go up again. Liberty Mutual just sent me a letter that says that everyone in New Jersey, that includes you, your homeowner's insurance will go up 40% soon. 40%. That's just our homeowners. That doesn't include all the other things that are going up. I don't know if you noticed that there are no real jobs either. Everything is per diem. I applied for a job here. There was a clerk position. 60 people tried to take it. My daughter, who works at Sahara Sam's, makes more money than the jobs I've been applying for because there are no jobs that have benefits. No jobs that have PTO. Everything is per diem. I don't know if you've noticed, we're struggling in Gloucester Township. I'm sure they're struggling in other places in America, but we're struggling right here in Gloucester Township. We cannot afford to have another utility go skyrocket on us soon, around the corner, a year or two from now. We need to be wise about our actions here. We don't want it on the ballot. We don't want to say yes or no. It's no. We don't want it. I do have some ideas, though, for you guys, okay? I just picked up my car from the auto body shop this morning. It was there for almost 2 weeks. Thank God I have full coverage. And thank God I saw the license plate of the person who hit me while I was parked in Dollar General. They backed right up into me, hit me, and decided that I better not stop. I better keep going. I wonder why. I wonder why they wanted to keep going. But then again, if they're caught smoking marijuana and driving and hitting my car, they'll have a bigger consequence. I say that we tax all the cannabis dispensaries that we've peppered throughout our community, tax them to wazoo, and that's how we get the money that we need. Because if you haven't noticed, every 2 or 3 minutes, someone's hitting a pole because they've been smoking marijuana. And I sit in the courtroom in Gloucester Township, and I watch and I take notes. How many people are under the influence, getting caught? Because, by the way, I also sit in Dunkin' Donuts, right where the cannabis dispensary is in Sicklerville, and I watch them roll their joints up and light up and drive out, which they're not supposed to do. Let's make money off of that. If we really need to make some money, how about we do a small increase that we can all try to afford? Let's not sell it and let other people make money off of us. We can't even afford what we're doing now. Many of us here, we don't make 6 figures. I'm still looking for a job. I can't even get ShopRite to hire me. I've lived in 4 homes in Gloucester Township. One of the first homes was where you live. I think you lived at some point in Valley Brook. Then I moved into Ariel into a single home. Then I had to go smaller and smaller and smaller. And now I am in a teeny home. I appreciate the work you guys do. I ask you to consider us. I know you live here too, because you wouldn't be able to be on the council. It affects all of us.
Thank
It
you.
affects all of us.
I appreciate it. Anyone on this side of the room that would like to speak again that has not spoken yet? Sir? Yes, with a hat. You, in the green shirt. I'm sorry.
Jerry Morgenstern, Summerdale, Broadmoor.
Good evening, Jerry.
Corporate accountant on the cost accounting side, just crunching numbers. Are 25,000 units in the MUA, is that an accurate number?
Ms. Ayers, we have 23,000 ratepayers. Yeah. Approximately 23,000.
25, so taking the 25,000, taking the current rate, which is about $184 a year, and building in some inflation, the rate's going to project to be $221 a year, times the 25,000 is about $5.5 million a year in cash for New Jersey. That's what the revenue is going to be. New Jersey American Water is investing $143 million. Quick and dirty, the math will be if it's right, with no major increases, a 26-year payback. Never happened in corporate America. They're going to have to raise their rates significantly. Typical payback might be 5 to 10 years. It's not going to be 26 years. I'm not sure you're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else? Yes, sir, with glasses.
Good evening, all. Michael Shuck, White Oak.
Good evening, Mr. Shuck.
Drive. From what I've been hearing tonight, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds, and I'm extremely disappointed if I heard this correctly, that no one has really researched what has happened with the other towns' rates going up after the agreement. Their own agreements were up. Because I've heard, well, send me the article, send me this, send me that. If that is true, I just believe that is an extreme disservice to all of us. If you didn't look 5 years down the road at how this decision could have an effect on the township. We've heard tonight that after the 5-year rate agreement, rates have gone up roughly 50 to 100%. Now, unlike Ray with his math, I know we currently pay $184 a year, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that after the rates go up after this, let's just say after the rates go up, it goes up to after the agreement, it goes up $70 a month, okay? That's $840 a year versus the $184 that we're paying now. It's an increase of $656 a year. What do you tell the seniors or people on a fixed income how this is good for them to pay an extra $656 a year? What do you say to them? Why is this a good thing for them? Why is it a good thing for any of us? To what everybody has said. How are we better off? And if this is just $70 and we've heard $100, $120, how is that better off? That's all I have to say.
So the reason why we're asking, the reason why I'm personally asking is because we've done extensive research and there has not been an apples to apples comparison of towns in New Jersey that have had an acquisition from New Jersey American Water and has had an increase. It's been proposed, it's been ideas, there's been speculation. There's no hard concrete facts yet. And that's all we were clarifying. When somebody says there's an increase of X amount of dollars, the reason why we're asking is because we don't see it. There is
that because the 5 years isn't up for the other
Possibly.
Well, then why are we hurrying? Why are we hurrying? If somebody did this already, why are we waiting? No, that's an important question. And I get put it on the ballot. Okay, but as everybody said, we don't need to put it on the ballot. You're asking people 5 years from now, people talk that we're in the business world, you know and I know the rates are gonna go up. You do know it. You're a homeowner, you know it. So at least on a $70 rate increase, why would you want a senior 5 years from now, and it will be even higher to pay $656? What are we getting out of that other than wiping your debt, and you're spending the money, and 5 years potentially from now, if not within the 10, we're back to a debt again. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, Mary Ann Johnson, Catalina Hills.
Good evening.
Hello. My opinion, obviously, is getting 143 million is basically a loan. They're giving you $143 million, but they're going to want something back. They're going to want that money back plus interest. So if you go through with this, then basically we are the ones that will be paying it back. As far as services, I would love to drive a BMW, but I have a Hyundai because I live within my means. If you don't have the money, the services must go with what you have. Also, Mr. Nash, you said we'd get reasons tonight of why this would be good. I haven't heard anything yet. So if you could please give us some good reasons so that we can make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side that has not spoken that would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Janet Marone,
Good evening, Ms. Maroon.
Glen Oaks. I'm just want to know, I'm a senior. I'm 80 years old. I have a very low income. What am I supposed to do? Sell my house in order to live?
Do you participate in the senior discount program from the MUA? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not really aware of that because nobody tells you nothing. No, I'm not.
Okay. So that's available to people who are over 65 years of age. If their income is less than $10,000.
Oh, come on, you gotta be joking.
Are you making more than $10,000? May I ask that
Yes.
question? Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's,
But I've
the
also,
Social Security is not included in that figure, excluding
oh,
Social
no, not
Security.
without Social Security, no.
Okay, so therefore you would qualify for a 25% reduction. If you are enrolled in that program, then you will be grandfathered into that program and you would have that 25% reduction in your bill.
And who do I see about that?
Okay, I can have that document sent to you, Ms. Marone. Let's do the sewer utility. We can get a copy to you. If you have an email address, come up here, we can email that to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
And that's
you.
available, and that is available to anyone who is 65 and over. They have those requirements. You have to provide documentation, but that you are grandfathered in. And I'll be quite
I've been in the township 50 years.
and I'll be frank with you. I did not know that existed till about 2 months ago.
Well, apparently a lot of seniors don't know it.
Yes, absolutely. And I wasn't aware they were also doing clean outs and not charging for those clean outs. But thank you. We'll forward that. If you could put your email, she's gonna grab your email, Ms. Botsford over there, Ms. Morone. Anyone on this side that has not spoken that would like to speak again? We're gonna go to this side. Anyone in the back that has not spoken that would like to speak again? Ma'am? Okay.
Hi, Carol Colincheco.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I hate to sound like a broken record, but if it's not broke, why are we trying to fix it? And again, we're never not going to be in debt. So we're going to pay this debt, selling off an asset, and then American Water is not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. It's a business. They want to make money. they're gonna make money on us. So now we're gonna have our rates raised, and then we're also gonna be paying off debt. It doesn't make sense. I don't think this is a good idea at all.
Okay,
So I'm against it.
all right, thank you. Anyone this side? Is it, sir, in the red shirt? And then I'll come to you, sir. Mr. Everett?
My name is Roy Checo, Timberberg.
Hi, Mr. Calcheco, how are you?
Can I have Bob take my time? Or
No, there is no giving of time.
No giving of time?
No, that's in our rules of order there.
All right, so if we're selling something that we really shouldn't be selling, because no one here wants it sold, and you work for us, right?
Okay.
You want to make more money, like this young lady said, go after people that are smoking pot while they're driving, tinted windows. It's $1,000 fine for tinted windows in your car. You know that, right?
I don't have tinted windows. I don't know.
I used to work for a company that's.
There's a lot of tinted windows
It's
around here.
$1,000 fine for the first time, $5,000 fine for the second time, the third time your car gets towed. And that's in the state of New Jersey. So if you want to make money and make money, stick the cops out on them. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Mr. Everett?
Good evening. I'm Brian Everett of Fernwood Drive. I wanted to speak against this ordinance this evening. A couple weeks ago, I was a delegate to the AFT convention in Houston. And it was at that convention that the AFT, a union of education professionals, healthcare workers, and public service workers, we were the first union to endorse Kamala Harris for president. And she came and spoke. It was a lot of fun. But one key takeaway from that convention was that privatization of public goods, it puts jobs into precarity, and it is a form of union busting. So I am against this proposal for that reason. I'm also against this proposal because I have been paying bills with American Water for a few years now. And when I first enrolled in their services, I signed up for that insurance program that they offer for pipes and whatnot. That was only like 4 years ago. And at that point, it was $5.99 per month. Today, it is $27.99 per month. So I don't have much faith in New Jersey American Water's future in terms of how they're going to pass a lot of increases on towards the taxpayers here in Gloucester Township. And another reason why I oppose this ordinance is just something that my dad taught me. It's like a very way to like verbalize your thoughts, just to make sure I understand what I'm saying. And the sentence, the township council is looking to sell the public utility to the company that the mayor works for. That sentence gives me the ick. And for that alone, I'm opposed to this ordinance. And I do agree with a lot of the residents and neighbors who spoke earlier on different matters. I haven't heard one resident this evening who is speaking in favor of this ordinance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else on this side that'd like to speak? We'll go on this side. Ms. Munoz, can you have to run out for a second? Ms. Fress, I see your hand there. You have not spoken yet.
Terry Fretz, Blackwood, New Jersey. I've been a resident of Gloucester Township for over 50 years. I certainly paid taxes those entire years, sewer bills, and everything else. It was my understanding that if you came here tonight, you were going to hear the pros of why it is beneficial to the residents that this council decided that they would take over the MUA, they would look into how much they could get for the sewer system, and they would give us answers to questions. But I haven't heard one pro from Mr. Mercado or from anyone here as to what the benefits are. Now, I go to school board meetings all the time, and when something comes up or something that I'm asking, I ask for the pros and the cons. And up until the last couple of years, they were forthcoming with that information. So tonight, I would like to hear someone from this council that thinks it's a good idea to put it on the ballot or to have voted for it in the first place or to entertain the idea of selling it. I would like to hear what they think the pros are, because I think every resident understands what the cons are. We understand how much it's going to cost us more. And I disagree with Mr. Nash in the fact that there isn't enough information out there, because while we are in New Jersey and they have been doing this for a number of years in Pennsylvania, I too did research. And there wasn't any article that I read for any of the different towns that their sewage bill did not go drastically up. So whether it's New Jersey or whether it's Pennsylvania, it's the same American General Water. I expect that the same thing will happen. So tonight, since I took the time to come here, I could have just watched it at home like I do your council meetings. I would like to hear what this council thinks the pros are and the benefits to the residents. I know that the wording says you decided this would be a benefit for residents, so let's hear them.
Well, I'm now piggyback. Ms. Fretz, this is providing an opportunity for residents to determine whether they're going to sell, they want to sell the wastewater system. I'm not, if anyone has paid attention to these meetings, I have not cheerleaded, I have not advocated, I've talked about what it could, the benefit, what could happen. Eliminating our debt, $67 million. Eliminating a $9 million debt service. Okay, providing tax release, a reduction in our municipal taxes. Okay, providing you want me to answer, okay. Providing capital improvement, much needed. The 2 months prior to the dissolution of the MUA, they had wanted to go to have an $18 to $19 million capital budget for infrastructure improvements. Those infrastructure improvements, the MUA in its former capacity and the sewer utility and the township, we don't have the financial capacity to make those infrastructure improvements. This is giving an opportunity for residents to determine whether or not they want to sell the utility or not. If you ask my personal opinion or my opinion of what this could do for our township and reset our municipal tax rate and the amount that we raised by taxation, absolutely will eliminate our debt.
And we'll just run it right back up again.
So
Because that's our pattern, right?
So,
Because that is
Mr. Nash, you wanted to respond to?
No, I mean, you said exactly that. That's the biggest benefit, right? So tax reduction / stabilization for X amount of years. So yes, it sounds like, per Ray's math, per everyone's math, there probably will be some sort of increase. We don't know what the increase is going to be, right? But what we do know is, what Mr. Mercado said, is that we're going to reduce our debt by 9 cents.
On an annual basis, $9 million on an annual basis.
$9 million on an
out
annual
of the
basis
budget.
is gone of our municipal tax bill. So that's tangible savings. On top of that, there's $70 million left over to capital improvements. Ms. Johnson asked about, she was asking about what values you said, or what comes to it. One is your son and granddaughter's soccer field. They want soccer lights. Things like this for our town's children who are spending lots and lots of time on the soccer fields. They can't play at night because they don't have lights. Your son personally asked me if we can get lights on those fields. There are the values that we can now provide if we have these types of resources.
But it's not necessary.
That's optional, or that's an opinion. All right.
Thank you, Ms. Fretz.
Well, I have one more thing to say. When it comes to a council doing the bare minimum, and to me, the bare minimum is to putting your information in a newspaper. I think we all understand that most people don't buy the paper anymore and don't read the paper, and it's a little tiny thing hidden away somewhere. So in Gloucester Township, we're always complaining about enough people don't come out, like they didn't come out tonight, or they don't come out to vote. There's going to be a whole lot of people that don't even know that this is on the ballot. So when they get their ballot, they won't even know what this is or understand it. Why is it that we can send out all kinds of flyers and information, and we can have it in our little, whatever you call that paper that comes out quarterly to your house of what's going on in the township? Why isn't it a priority to make each household in Gloucester Township know about selling the sewer?
I will ask the administration if that's something they could put in their quarterly newsletter in the fall.
I didn't see it on the billboard either at the time.
Excuse me?
I didn't see any mention of it on that nice billboard, that nice, board that you have out front that tells us what the meetings are and when different things are in the township and we're collecting leaves or whatever it tells us.
Okay.
I didn't see any mention of this on there. My point is that a lot of people don't know what's going on. Now, I happen to have a sign that says don't sell the sewer utility, and I live in a small development, but a park is behind my house. I can't tell you how many people walk by and say, what is this about? Well, they shouldn't have to ask me what it's about. They should have heard from Gloucester Township things that you're proposing that you want to do, or that you might want to do. And like you said, it's going to be on the ballot, but we all know that isn't, it doesn't mean everybody's going to understand what it is.
Okay.
So you want to get a good vote, a true vote of what residents feel, you have to provide them with information.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side that has not spoken that would like to speak? Anyone on this side that has not spoken that would like to speak? Okay, we're going to start with Mr. Eckstein. Followed by Ms. Hendry and followed by Mr. Polidoro.
Ira Eckstein, Glen Oaks. Last time I was here, you were saying that there was going to be infrastructure improvements. What are you talking about? With the money? You say if you get the money, the 143?
There's capital improvements that they have earmarked in their bid.
No.
Infrastructure improvements. So you want me to go through them, sir?
No. Never mind. Next question.
Okay. Why not? You don't want to hear it?
Shit.
Okay. Please refrain from language, please.
Now I forgot the other. Oh, I know what I'm saying. You're saying that you need money to do infrastructure for the township.
There was, again, that's not well known, but there was an $18 million or $19 million capital budget request. I was the liaison to the GTMUA, a capital budget request for infrastructure improvements. That got shelved when there was a dissolution of the MUA. So sooner or later, we have an aging infrastructure. The capital improvements are going to need to be made on that infrastructure.
According to the Remington and Vernick engineering report that was done for the dissolution, that the system was in good condition, and that recommendations that Remington and Vernick had suggested were already in process of being implemented.
Okay, so there's not going to be any maintenance of the infrastructure, Mr. Eckstein? We're not have to continue infrastructure improvements?
Of course.
Okay.
Well, if money, now it's part of the township.
Yes.
So if improving the system is important, why have we already borrowed this year close to $15 million?
For the sewer system?
No, for just things that you seem to spend money on.
Oh, providing services for our residents. Those are the things that we're spending money on.
Every township, every municipality has police departments. They have parks. So
But Ira, why did you decide to keep roots here and stay here as opposed to living in another municipality?
I want to leave
Because-
this town, you don't know how bad I want to leave this township. You don't know how bad.
So this town separates itself from other towns.
How?
Okay.
High taxes?
All right.
The
I guess, yeah, someone said it too, premium services, okay? I guess that we don't provide anything to our residents.
High taxes,
High taxes, okay.
$32,000 pedestrian bridge for pickleball courts.
It was not 32,000. That's the story that keeps being told. It was not $32,000.
Really? I got the bid.
It was not $32,000.
Over request.
It was not $32,000 for the bridge, sir. That's a story that keeps going out, that it was $32,000 for the bridge. It was not. So, it was not $32,000. Is there anything else, Mr. Eckstein?
No.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hendry?
Good evening again, Dina Hendry, Summerdale.
Again.
Quick question. What is the flow chart of this amazing township? Like, what is like the pyramid?
You mean the organizational chart?
Yes.
Organizational chart.
Yeah.
So it's the residents. There's not a formal org chart that I have here. There are separation of government. There's administration. There is legislative, which we are, and then there's the judicial.
All right, thank you for clarifying that. So when Mr. Cardis came to you with this amazing idea to sell the MUA or the sewer utility, did you discuss this with anybody else?
I had a conversation and said, move forward, see what we can do with that, and then I discussed it with members of council.
But did you talk to the mayor about it?
No.
So, but doesn't it go like residents, then the mayor, and then you guys?
Mayor could not be involved in the discussion
Why?
because he has a conflict.
But wait a second. When the idea came about, right? Wouldn't you like call the mayor and be like, hey,
No,
Artist said
I didn't
we
call
should sell it.
Didn't call the mayor and say, hey, we should sell it. Nope, that did not take
So
place.
then you took it upon yourself to discuss it with your team members. Let's put it on the agenda.
I said, let's move forward and explore the possibility of selling this asset.
So at that point, then when did the mayor find out about this great idea?
It's great. I would imagine in March when we put it on the agenda.
So then who runs the township, you or the mayor?
The township is run by the administration, the mayor.
The administration and the mayor.
We are the administration is the mayor.
So you made a decision
But the mayor-
without talking to your boss?
The mayor has a conflict of interest
But how would
So
you
his
know that was
desi-
a conflict of interest?
because he works for American Water and he provided a letter indicating he has a conflict of interest and cannot be involved in any activities regarding the sale of the sewer.
Okay, so he found out the night that we found out, or when the agenda got posted?
He provided a letter prior to this going on the agenda.
So he knew when the agenda got posted, just like everybody else.
So I would say days before the agenda was posted.
And then he was just like, ooh, this could be a conflict of interest.
No, he had said a letter that it was a conflict of interest prior to the agenda.
Okay, because we knew that American Water could be a contender.
That's correct.
Right, okay, I'm following it now. So when the MUA got dissolved into the sewer department, we were told that there was going to be a savings to the residents, but we never got told how much of a savings. Do we know how much this residents saved by merging of these?
That question has been asked several times. Mr. Cardis has not provided an analysis on that. There was initial savings of the commissioners' salaries. There was economies of scale because there was a duplication of particular services that are provided by the MUA and the township. You have one payroll department, one human resources department. So there was economies of scale there.
So when we dissolved the MUA and it became a sewer department, did we also shrink workforce, or did
No.
we gained workforce?
No, the workforce remained the same.
We didn't add any positions.
There was, Ms. Eric, are you aware of any additional hiring during that time period?
Okay. Do you think we bit off more than we can chew by dissolving this? That's the reason why we're looking to sell?
No.
Okay. And then also, when this desire to sell, and then 4 of you ran last year about saving the taxpayers' money, did you guys realize that you would be costing the taxpayers more money if this was a sell?
No, I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Because if we are paying, let's say, $100 a month for our sewer, not only are the seniors going to be hurt, but also families who have children who play in those parks and play in those leagues. We're going to have to decide, do we flush the toilet or do our 3 kids play flag football? Seniors are going to have to decide, do I buy my meds, or if it's yellow, let it mellow? I mean, come on now. Think about it. Tonight is the night that you guys can decide, do we put it on the ballot or not? And I honestly believe you should say, let's scrap this. You have the power, but yet you don't want to do it. You're saying, let the people decide. There's more people in this room that ever come to a council meeting. The people have decided they don't want it. Nobody in this room has said, yes, I think it's amazing. So the people have spoken. You rather let it go during election. So what? 60,000 people can vote. 60,000 people don't vote in this township. I'll go up again.
Mr. Polidoro.
Good evening again, Council Ray Polidoro from Ariel.
Good evening.
Every once in a while, you guys keep on going back to the myth that you're going to put this out to the people and the people are going to decide. You're causing the people to create a reaction, and that reaction is to your action. The people did not dissolve the MUA. You did. The people did not ask, well, let's see what the MUA is worth. Let's just throw it out there. It's an asset. Let's find out what it's worth. We've asked these questions from the time that they started getting talked about. As Dina said, you said you were going to dissolve the MUA for savings, and yet Mr. Cardis, who again is not here, and the administration, who again is not here, never answered the question as savings. Now you want to sell the MUA, and you don't have any answers other than, and I know you guys don't really trust my map, but it's really simple. It's really, really simple. You didn't even have to write it down, to be honest with you. That's where it's going. It's where it's going. So here's 2 novel ideas that you have an opportunity to put the genie back in the bottle tonight. One is there's nothing stopping you from putting the MUA back where it was. As many people have recited to you, it was never broken. It ran so well that they had a $6 million emergency fund, which Mr. Cardis referred to as a surplus. It was emergency money that if something needed to be done with our sewer system, it would be repaired. And I'll never forget the words that Mr. Cardis used. They have a $6 million budget and a $6 million surplus. That's ridiculous. We need to get rid of that. So you basically got rid of them, procured their money, basically leaked half of it away. You got $3 million sitting in your pocket. First MUA issue that needed to be done, you went and borrowed $300,000. I'm not wrong, Mr. Mercado. Please
No,
shake your
Mr.
head.
Polidoro, can you stop the clock for a second? And I'll give you your full 5 minutes. You have been saying this for the last year and a half. That $6 million is with the township, and it goes back to the residents in the form of tax relief and tax stabilization. Mr. Polidoro, you were here 17 years ago advocating for the dissolution of the MUA. Do you recall that?
No, you don't remember me being here.
Oh, absolutely.
No. You want to link me?
Absolutely.
If you wish to link me with somebody else, I can do the same
So
with you.
I want to know when you saw the light that it's a bad thing. I also know when you used to over request the MUA regarding the contributions and the reimbursement that the employees would get. You had issues with the MUA. You had issues with the certification of the executive director. But now there's an opportunity, okay, to tune us up So I'll let you continue, Mr. Potter, but I have a long memory. I've been on here for a long time. And I recall those that advocated, for that. And you were one of them, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Please start the clock.
I'm pleased to hear you feel like you're getting tuned up. In any event.
Well, you do have a loose relationship with the facts.
All right,
Please continue.
let's keep to the clock that you so well keep an eyeball on. So you can put the MUA back together, a very well run, very efficient. And I told Mr. Curtis to his face, if you were so envious of their $6 million surplus, why didn't you go to school and learn what they learned, how to run a budget, instead of increasing taxes every even numbered year and holding the line on election years? The other option you have is you are still in possession of the MUA, former MUA employees and the sewage service. Another way of putting the genie back in the bottle is, rather than handing this over for $143 million, which we will result in paying for, you keep saying tax reduction. I don't care what you call it. If you think you're going to reduce taxes, it's never going to put money in people's pocket. You may say that you lowered the tax more than you were going to raise it. And we went through that before. I'm just not tall enough to show where you guys have taken taxes. But it's not going to put money in people's pocket when the economy's bad. So why don't you consider maybe running the sewage system? If you got to raise prices, it goes right back into our pocket, not New Jersey American Waters. If you have to do some infrastructure things, it's all done in-house. Once you let them get a hold of it, we're done forever. Why don't you at least table this tonight? At least table it. See if you can't do a better job than New Jersey American Water is proposing, because we've seen what they're doing just about all over this country. Now, I fully expect, and I have been one of the people, of 5 or 6 people that come to every meeting. This room was packed to the gills when you were raising taxes. And truth be told, it doesn't matter what they say. You hear them, but you're not listening. I guarantee you guys will approve this tonight. This will move on. You'll find a really meticulous way to put this onto the resolution, onto the ballot. And there would be no winners. You're going to pay it too, but it doesn't seem like you care. Table it. Table it. Because I just don't think you're aware how much our bills are going up. I have 4 more years left before I'm retired. Okay? My wife's looking for houses in North Carolina. She wants to get the hell out of here as quickly as she can. And I don't know if the New Jersey exit tax is still around, but we're going to find a way around that too. But I like this town. I like some of you guys. I hate what you do to us. I hate it a lot. But the last thing that I want to say before my clock runs out, as you keep saying, Mr. Nash, we're going to give this back to the people. We're going to let them decide. Well, how about you decide talking for us? Why don't you make that decision? You want to leave it up to the people? We elected you to do that. Why don't you do the best thing? If nothing else, vote no or table it. Have more discussion, because this ain't ready. And we're not ready for the tax increases that we're about to see.
Thank you, Mr. Polidoro. Ms. Coyne?
Denise Coyne, Choose Landing. First of all, I'd like to address Mr. Nash's comment that 60,000 people are going to vote for this. There aren't 60,000 voters in Gloucester Township. There's kids. Kids don't vote. Okay, kids will be affected by this. They don't get to vote, but they'll be affected by this. There's roughly 50,000 voters in Gloucester Township. Of those 50,000, a third of them came out to vote last year. 1/3. That hardly represents Gloucester Township. Of that third, 2/3 were Democrats. So it seems to me like this is an effort to justify a predetermined decision, because you know, and everybody on this council knows how voting works in Gloucester Township. The Democrats have won for how many years in a row now? 16, 17, maybe? Year after year after year after year, which leaves a large percentage of the population unrepresented. Okay, so there's that. The residents of this township will not decide. A few people of this township will decide for the majority. That's hardly democracy. Okay, so there's that. As far as not having a history in New Jersey of how this will affect rates and rate increases, there's a long history in Pennsylvania. This has been happening in Pennsylvania since 2016. And there's an article from November 7th, 2023 that was done by the New Jersey Monitor. And it says, the new push to privatize sewer services follows the passage of a state law in 2016 that allows the dollar value of wastewater systems to include not just pipes and plants, but market factors such as the worth to the community, allowing them to be sold at much higher prices. The deals provide a short-term cash boost for local governments, which can struggle to cover the cost of aging infrastructure. But critics say the public services and tax savings that governments might provide residents with the quick money do not make up for the rate hikes, a phenomenon known as taxing through the tap. Big Water tells municipal officials you're going to get free money. That's a lie. The money is going to be paid for by the ratepayers. The community group protested the 2020 sale of the wastewater system in New Garden Township, a community of 11,000 residents. Aqua, Pennsylvania was buying it. They were buying it for fair market value, and it says research was published last year in the Water Policy, the journal of the international think tank, World Water Council, that the United States 500 largest water systems, and found that private ownership was the most significant variable in driving up utility bills, even more than aging infrastructure, water supply, and local regulations. And it says, historically, the sale price of regulated water systems has been determined by book value of their assets, including pipes and treatment plants. But these new state laws enable outside appraisers to incorporate other factors such as the system's value to the community. That has allowed the system to sell for many more times than what they're worth. And we pay for that. We will end up paying way more than what the sewer's worth, and we already own the sewer. We shouldn't pay a dime for it. And it says for local governments, the higher prices fall under the fair market model, make it enticing to sell their infrastructures. And the water companies want higher sale price as well. Higher acquisitions payments allow the companies to charge higher rates to recover those costs, driving up profits, which are determined by a percentage of their investments. So it's in the seller's best interest and the buyer's best interest to get the highest price possible. And the residents and the taxpayers are the ones that suffer. And Pennsylvania is now introducing legislation to try to undo the damage that has been done through privatization. So my question to you is, why would you subject the residents that you're supposed to represent to something that is proven to be a bad idea in Pennsylvania? 2016 is when it started. So there's a long history there, and the history is not good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coyne. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
I thought there was going to be a presentation. Obviously not. So there's no presentation. Mr. Nash is not going to give us a presentation of his findings. Mr. Ricardo just told me that. So you won't get any facts tonight. You're looking for facts. They're not going to be coming out
Because they seen $6 million here. Competition can't stand to see high This is the first thing. I'm actually very much. They would want to freeze it because they can say, see, I had your best interest. We knew it was going to pass, but I was against it. Nope. Once it's going, it's going. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to vote yes or no on. You might have just on that side. Yeah.
He's right. That's a quorum. Yeah, it's a quorum.
Thank you.
That way it's a treat for you too. Right, this is my first one. Yes, several times. Yes.
All right, we'll reopen our public hearing. We were in the back for people that, yes, Ms. Kavanaugh?
Kim Kavanaugh, I still live in Glen Oaks. So I just have a couple of things. I am asking you from my heart for you to open your hearts. Ears open or not, whatever. Every day in our township, and this is a fact because I see it, they come to me. We have senior citizens who can't afford their medications, who can't afford food, and they have to choose. Or they get cat food and dog food and eat that. And then we, as the medical people, are trying to resolve the issues that come from that. We have families who are unable to feed their children. The only meals that they get are meals that they get at school. In this day and age, our people should not have to suffer like that. And if we are going to take this and privatize it to somebody else, American Water, and we all know that the bills will go up, we are then basically sentencing our senior citizens, our young parents to, I don't care if you can feed your family or not. I don't care if you can afford your medication. So when we're looking to do this, I think we really seriously need to look at that. There are many other ways of getting money. I am willing to pay more for my sewage bill. Keep it inside. I'm sure most people here would be willing to pay more for their sewage bill. I heard it brought up about lights. lived in many other states, because my husband was in the military. I've lived in many other towns. What we did, we went to our businesses and said, hey, I need some lights for my soccer field. Those business people were more than willing to give the money. All we had to do was put their name there. I'm sure if we went to all of our businesses in this area, we could get lights or whatever else we needed for our sports teams. There are a lot of ways of getting and earning the money that we need, and I'd like us to start doing that and really consider what we're doing to our senior citizens and to our families that aren't making it now. What is going to happen to them?
Thank you. Anyone on this side that has not spoken yet, Ms. O'Donnell?
Good evening, Jen O'Donnell, the historic village of Ariel next to Mr. Polidoro. So over the past many years, I have taken your capital budgets, thrown them all in a spreadsheet, taken samples of certain projects, Oprah'd the receipts for those projects, at least 30 of them. Every one of the receipts added up to 33% less than what was borrowed. So when people talk about over borrowing, that's something that I have taken a look at, and it absolutely is a thing. And then they have also proven, many people out here have proven how you early borrow, where you borrow and don't do a project 3 or 4 years. So if this goes through and you take that money and you pay down the debt, what are you going to do different to not put us $67 million in debt again? It's a real question.
Okay. So we'll eliminate all the debt of $60 million. In our budget now, we have a current $9 million in annual debt service. So essentially interest on a credit card.
What do you, I get what's
Yes,
there.
no,
I know what's there. What are you going to do different is my
Ms.
question.
O'Donnell, if you could please let me continue.
I just want to know what you're going to do different.
If
I
you're
don't
gonna
want you
ask
to
me-
tell me what's there.
If you're going to ask me a question, you're going to give me an opportunity to respond.
I would like you to answer the question I asked, though.
Ms. O'Donnell,
Yes, sir.
are you going to allow me to respond?
I will allow you to answer the question I asked. Yes, please.
I'm going to start again.
Can you stop the clock? If you're
No,
going to
I'm
talk
not.
about other things,
Miss-
okay, then
Miss
you
O'Donnell.
can answer it when I'm done, because I have a couple more
No,
things that I'd
please
like to
continue
say.
and take your 5
Thank
minutes.
you. I appreciate
You're not
it.
allowing me to respond, so please continue.
Absolutely. So I was watching the live stream and I heard you guarantee the residents that we won't pay for any clean outs if they're necessary. You said it's on the live stream. You said it's in public. You said it's in the minutes of the meeting. You absolutely guarantee that residents would not have to pay for that. I also heard someone say that there are 2 different ways that this can come about. One is on the ballot, and I'll call the other one the back doorway if you think the infrastructure is bad. So will you guarantee tonight that if this does not pass on the ballot, that you will absolutely not do it the back doorway, say the infrastructure is bad, and do it another way and protect the residents from this if they vote no? I'm done asking questions.
Thank you for your time.
So you're not going to answer anything?
I'm going to respond, but your time is done. Thank you for your time. In regards to the cleanouts, yes, those cleanouts will be performed by Public Works.
That wasn't my question.
And in addition to that, there are 2 ways to sell utility. This first way is putting on a ballot. Again, this is not the first time this has been brought up in our township. This provides transparency. It is on the ballot, and individuals have an opportunity to vote yes or no on that. In regards to the other way in determining that our sewer system or infrastructure is, terrible, in disrepair, that is not something, an avenue that we're going to pursue. Anyone else that has not spoken on this side that would like to speak, Now we're gonna go on this side. Anyone like to speak on this side that has not spoken? Barry.
Barry Salvatorello, Hickstown Road, Sicklerville. Quick question. American Water, they're gonna spend $90 million on upgrading our infrastructure.
That's correct.
What is it that they have to spend 90 million on that you said we were looking at roughly $18 million?
They have identified certain projects. I was trying to indicate that earlier to a previous resident, but he wasn't interested in knowing. Are you interested in knowing what?
Absolutely.
Okay, sir.
Because my fear is that a $90 million investment into infrastructure means excessive developments.
You say excessive development?
Meaning we find more land and build more houses and townhouses and condos and warehouses and storage facilities and dispensaries.
There's a list.
And I didn't mean to sound sarcastic, and I apologize for that.
Okay. Yeah, bear with me for 1 second. I'm just grabbing where they identified.
While you look, can I address Mr.
Yeah.
Nash for a moment?
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Nash.
Mr. Nash, so you were talking about research that you guys have all been doing, okay, and you weren't able to find it. You heard from this gentleman right here that his insurance policy to maintain his waste lines went from $5 to 27? Am I correct with that approximately? $27.99. So that should give you an idea of what residents are gonna have to pay, because we all know that American Water charges for the services that they have to perform. So the first thing they're gonna do is send every resident a bill for insurance, just like South Jersey Gas does, like Atlantic City Electric does, and I'm sure Aqua does for your water and all that. I have a well, so I'm safe for the time being from that. But so you just have an idea now. This is somebody who's living it right now, the increase. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that.
Well, I mean, I don't like to work off speculation. Just because that goes up doesn't mean something else is gonna go up. I like to work with facts. Not saying it's not gonna go up. You're talking about an insurance line, and now you're talking about a wastewater utility. It's two different things. I'm not saying it's not gonna go up. I don't know. But for you to compare it to, it's like saying it's compared to a gallon of milk. Maybe
that went from $2 to $5.09.
All right, and has your utility going up?
I don't know. What's it costing to take care of the cows? Their utilities are going up.
But your utility hasn't changed and the price of milk hasn't changed, hasn't increased, right?
My utilities go up.
My point being is you're comparing things that shouldn't be compared. We don't know the facts yet because there are no facts in the state of New Jersey with New Jersey American Water. That's all I'm saying.
What makes why is nobody from American Water here to answer our questions? Because hopefully they would have answers that we need. Just out of curiosity.
You wouldn't want American Water here. Would you want American Water answering questions for you? If I had them sitting right here, then what would you say?
Exactly what I'm saying, because
No. This is, I'm going to respond to you regarding what their $90 million. So their capital investment improvement over the first 10 years, the following projects will take place in the first 7 years. Replacement of the Glen Oaks, Fay Ann Drive, Stephen Drive, and Mayfair pump stations based on the age and need as identified in the R&B engineering report. Replacement of the 20-foot force main associated with the Orr Road pump station to ensure proper conveyance. Repairment of the force main associated with the Pierce Battery pump station. Relocation of the Summerdale Road pump station to accommodate construction of a new bridge, culvert immediately adjacent to the lift station, and a comprehensive analysis of the entire wastewater system that will inform development and execution of a high-priority sewer main rehabilitation and replacement program. That is the things they have identified in their bid, page 33 and 34 of their projects in the first 7 years.
in the first 7 years.
First 7 years.
What were we looking at doing for 18 million?
I don't have that information on me.
Okay. I just didn't know how much it was off from what they were doing. And did anybody get to add up the figures that Ray gave to give his comparisons for what increases would be and what the necessities would be to
No,
maintain?
no one.
I didn't know if anybody checked it and used the numbers of residents and the amount of the sale and what they.
From the
need to
time
make
that he
back.
spoke, no.
I just didn't know if anybody had a calculator up there and did it. I apologize.
No.
Thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you. Anyone on this side that has not spoken yet? Anyone on this side that would like to speak, that has not spoken yet, that would like to speak? Mr. Leader, you've had your hand up. You're speaking again.
David Leader, Glendora, Huntington Avenue. I come from a business background. Everything that I proposed to my management had to have pros and cons. It had to have a study. I had to prove the worth. We had to do return on investment. I don't hear that council has done due diligence. I've been coming here for 6 months, listening for due diligence. I've been coming here to find out what are the pros and cons in the minds of the council who unanimously voted yes for this transition. I don't know any facts. Mr. Nash seems to think he has some facts, and we can only compare to other unknown things that don't match apples to apples. I understand that. My management, when I was running a business, wouldn't allow that either. But you look me in the eye, and you on the camera look me in the eye and tell me that you've looked at pros and cons. You've looked at what's going to happen to the employees, what's going to happen to the rates in the future. That you thought about all that, you investigated all that in 6 months, which is a consultancy you'd have to pay to get that information. You don't have the basis of information to make a decision today. You didn't yesterday, you didn't in January. There are no pros and cons coming forth from council.
I respectfully disagree, Mr. Leader. If I sat here and extolled all the virtues of why this should be sold, they would say the fix is in. I have not. I remain neutral on this matter. I have talked about what would be, what would happen or occur if this property, if the asset was sold. It is going on the November ballot. The residents of Gloucester Township will determine how we proceed. If it's no, then we still keep the sewer utility. Will there be capital improvements made to it? Absolutely. Could rates go up? Absolutely. Which are not monitored by the Board of Public Utilities. Not monitored.
Well, you trust yourselves.
Excuse me?
You trust yourselves to make sure the rates.
So yes, this has been seen at, it has been vetted over the last 6 to 7, 8 months. And there are pros and cons to it. But when there was a resident that asked, how come it's not in the newsletter? If I put that in the newsletter or ask the administration to put that in the newsletter, okay, this is something they're advocating for. No, we're going to let the residents determine what is best for them.
Yes, sir. I agree with everything you said. However, there's been a number of examples tonight of where due diligence by the townspeople provided information that apparently you had no access to. So there's been studies. The townspeople held 2 meetings on this subject, which have been a great opportunity for you to inform yourselves of what the other side of the picture might look like. Not one of you attended, to my knowledge. Somebody put posters on car windows that were defamatory to the people who were in the township trying to make a point of gathering more information. There was an advocacy woman from the state of New Jersey who spoke to us and gave us a lot of information that was not available otherwise. There were professionals in the industry who spoke to us and led us down the path of looking at consequences as well as benefits. You have not done any of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak that's not spoken on this side? Mr. Allen?
Joe Allen, Lacey Milford, Sickerville. A moment ago, you said that this was gonna go on the ballot. Did you already decide? Behind closed doors, or?
No, Mr. Allen, we did not decide behind
How do
closed
you know
doors.
what their opinions are?
Okay, Mr. Allen, okay.
It's a fair point, right?
Yes, we went back there and said, okay, we're gonna do this and throw it on the ballot. Okay. So it gives an opportunity for residents to vote for it on the ballot on November 5th.
You said it was gonna go on the ballot, though. So
If there is a vote tonight at the end of this hearing, and we move forward, and then it will be forwarded to the clerk's office, the Camden County Clerk, to be on the November ballot. That's if a vote goes forward of this body.
just want to clarify because it sounds.
Yes, thank you for the clarification. I do appreciate it. Nice to see you, Mr. Allen.
It's nice to see you too.
Yes. Is it, anything else?
No, I just wanted to know if we had a conversation.
No. Anyone else that has not spoken on this side that would like to speak? Is that Ms. Coyne?
Denise Coyne, Choose Landing. First, I would like clarification. Earlier, you were asked about the organizational chart of the township, and you said the residents were at the top. I remember looking at the organizational chart, and the residents weren't on it at all.
No, that's my opinion that the residents are on top.
Okay, but that's an opinion. They're not on the chart.
All right. Well, in my opinion, the residents are on top.
Okay, but they're not on the chart.
Okay.
Correct?
I don't have, Mr. Leader's holding something up. I don't have an organizational chart in front of me.
Okay,
Please
they're
continue.
not on the
Okay.
chart at all. They don't appear anywhere.
All right.
Okay. As far as the $90 million of improvement that New Jersey American Water has identified that our township needs, that wasn't identified by our own township engineers, Remington and Vernick, and wasn't identified by the township. So I'm not sure that those repairs actually need to be done. But if they do need to be done, again, we will pay for them. As evidence for that statement, New Jersey American Water has filed multiple petitions with the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities for rate increases across various programs. And those programs were getting rid of the lead in the water lines. Okay, so they said that needed to be done. They did it. They go to the Board of Public Utilities and they ask for a rate increase. So if they do $90,000 of repairs to our system, we're gonna pay for that. And you can
90
bet,
million.
90 million, you can bet that they're going to go and ask for a rate increase. There's also a bill that would allow them to bill in advance for any repairs that they plan on doing. They don't even have to actually do them. They just have to plan to do them, and they could bill us for it. So everybody needs to know that. Thank you.
Ms. Hendry.
Tina Hendry, Summerdale. I just want to know, everybody here in the audience has taken their time for their night and decided to show up. And I would have to say, we have all spoken to everybody here with respect. Granted, it has been with frustration, but with respect. But we are not getting the respect back. We are getting gaslit. We are getting bullied. We are getting threatening conversations. And you can roll your eyes at me, but that's what we're getting. I mean, I am getting texts from people at home. Granted, there's only about 65 watching, but people at home who are saying, oh my God, is this how it's always? Does he talk to you guys? Like, do they not listen? Prove them all wrong. Prove us all wrong here and say, you know what? We're going to put a pin in this. We're going to listen to the people that are here tonight and say, we are not putting this up for the vote. The people have showed up. Everybody has said, don't do it. We have given you reasons, whether it's the seniors, whether it's the families who want to play sports, whether it's families who have free and reduced lunch, who can't afford to eat lunch in school. They're going to have to pay this. But yet, there's some of you who talk to us in a way that is disgusting, okay? You didn't like when I used a foul language word. You gabbled at me. If we can all gavel at you right now, you would see it, that it is absolutely disgusting how you treat the people who are top of the organizational chart. So, could you apologize and could we have a respectful conversation?
Miss Andrew, I have not gaslit anybody. I have not bullied anybody. I have provided respect to everyone that's been at that microphone. There may be questions and responses that people don't like the responses to it, but I have not done any things that you have said. So there will not be an apology.
All right.
If you would like to apologize to council here
For calling you
your
lying sacks of shit, I should have said lying sacks of poop. I'm really sorry.
Anyone else on this side that has not spoken? Mr. Polidoro? And then we'll move to this side.
Again, Ray Polidoro from Merrill. Just a quick question. You were asked about the bid being clarified. Is that clarified bid going to be put up on the website from New Jersey American Water?
For the 9%?
Yeah, so people can read the most current, most accurate.
It is indicated as 9% there. There was, Ms. Sartor, you've gone over this bid, and I have it here. It's indicated as 9%. It does not indicate compounded, but they provided clarification to us that is not compounded at 9%.
All right, so basically what Mr. Palmer had asked you, and I think Mr. Colomere had said that they were looking to get that squared away. It is the most current updated, and that'll be up on the website?
No, the bid has not changed. They provided clarification.
Clarification,
Mr.
that's
Palmer,
all.
that the clarification is there. I have a letter, and we could provide that if anyone wants a copy of that. That was sent to Ms. Sartor from New Jersey American Water's legal counsel. It is 9% over 5 years, not compounded.
And there'll be no clarification for people to view other than this.
It's here, yes, the bid remains the same.
All right. I didn't intend on saying anything else, but I want to just say what I've always felt when I come to these council meetings, and not many that I've missed for quite a few years. How, regardless whether the room was filled, where the line was out in the parking lot, every seat was taken, talking about a tax increase. It's always been my feeling that you guys will sit here as long as you can, run out the clock. You've already have your minds made up. You already know how you're going to vote, and you're going to vote either however you see fit or whatever you were told to vote. You can think about that yourself. And yet there's been enough people that have come before this microphone pleading with you to represent us. And maybe you don't think there's enough people in this room to represent the rest of the town, or who knows what you're going to tell the seniors to get them to vote on this resolution. But I still find, coming from Philadelphia politics, it's just my opinion, at least, to have good, honest, corrupt politicians over there. But how 7 members of the council coming from different parts of the town, different upbringing, how you can all think exactly the same. And how it's funny that when you have a public meeting, you don't even ask questions amongst one another. I think at this point, the last person I have ever seen to think differently is no longer on council, Mrs. Stubbs. She dared to say no one time. She's not on council anymore. But again, different faces, different voices, different minds. but yet it's all like a mind numb collective. These all do the same thing and think alike. And you'll do the same thing tonight. Maybe you set it up and rehearsed it where somebody's going to vote no or two won't, but we'll still get a majority. But it's just, it's tough. You know, I would love to retire in this town. No way will I be able to do that. You guys can't pick my pockets after I retire because I won't have anything new coming in. But maybe I'm going to ask you, table it. Talk about this. Is not a rush thing. It might be a rush for the millions of dollars that need to change hands, but we're the ones that are going to be paying the bills. Just think about it. Individually think about it.
Thank you. Anyone else on this side? Yes, ma'am.
Hi again, Jess Blackwood.
Can we have your last name? You didn't provide it the first time.
Oh, it's in, well, Bogey, but I did email you that article, so if you check your email right now.
I don't check my email during
Maybe during
council.
the next break. You said about the 25% discount for the seniors.
Yes.
I don't really see the benefit of that because, I mean, right now it'd be a great benefit for her because it's like $15 a month. So she'd pay around $11 a month. But I mean, if we get acquired by American Water and it goes up to 40, she'd pay 30. If it goes up to 70, she'd pay 52. If it goes up to 90, she'd pay 67. All those numbers are more than 15. So a 25% discount isn't really helping her fixed income or any other senior in this room. As for mailers, we're just asking, why didn't you send out mailers that you were going to have these conversations tonight? Like, why didn't we get a flyer in our mail that said, hey, we're thinking about selling, we're going to have a meeting? Nobody knows. The only reason people know is because we're out here telling them. You aren't telling them. I get it. You don't want to like act like you really want to do it. So you don't want to put out like feelers like you want it. So you don't put out mailers, but you should put out mailers saying, hey, we're going to have a meeting. Hey, this is going to be on your ballot this November. Like, there's no mailers. But yet, every time there's an election season, I get all these mailers in the mail that you want to be reelected, and all these mailers that all your opponents are like not real Democrats or like they're bad Republicans because they made a Facebook post that was bad or whatever. So like if we have the campaign funding to do those types of mailers, why don't we have mailers that say, hey, we have a desire to sell something that we have owned for decades, and if you want to talk about it, here's where we'll be. As for, I mean, the other thing with taxes, my taxes increased this summer by $200. My neighbor back there, his taxes increased $300. You say that if this, and that's before the sale has even gone through. If the sale goes through, what's the tax we'll get back? Like, did you take 200 from me so you can give me 50 back? Did you take 200 so I could get 25 back? Like, you put up my number. So even if you take it down by $20, $50, it's still more than what it was before right now. Like, it's not a savings if you even do it ever. As for improvements, again, I agree with everybody else. I feel like this is ours. It's been ours for many generations since before I was ever born or lived here. We should take responsibility for our own stuff and take care of it. The communities I grew up in still have their own water and their own wastewater. Acco, Hamilton, those are the places I come from. They still have their own water and their own wastewater, and they're able to provide just fine. I don't get why we can't do that here. We have more residents. That should mean more money to get these things done ourselves. Take responsibility for our own fixes. And another thing, I mean, the only reason people aren't here tonight is because, I mean, most don't know, again, no mailers. The other thing is a lot of people work. My husband isn't here because he works late. He's a UPS driver. He's out till 9 o'clock at night. He'd love to be here. He can. And then the third reason is I have friends that I asked to come and they're like, we don't want to come because they're just going to vote that they're going to do it anyway. So why come? I begged my friend down the street. I've known her forever. I convinced her to come to this township a couple of years ago because I said, come, be my neighbor. We'll have fun. Now I feel bad because I got her wrapped up in all this. And already she's got the brainwash in her head, like many other people, that there's no reason to come because nobody will listen. And she's only been here a couple of years. I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Can I just, what's the answer? Why wasn't there a mailer telling people that you had a desire to sell?
So any cost that we will incur is for the transaction. So we get a $200,000 payment from American Water. And that goes towards legal counsel or any other type of transaction that took place during this time period. When you talked about flyers that go out for political campaigns, those are funded by political organizations, Democrats, Republicans, or whoever it may be. When a comment was made about why not have this in the township newsletter, that's something that I'll speak to the business administrator about. But if this goes forward and this is put on the ballot, I would imagine American Water will engage in a education process over the next few months. American Water, not the township.
Which doesn't feel like a great idea because American Water obviously wants to buy it, so their mailers are going to be a little skewed. There should just be a neutral mailer that comes from the township.
And that is why American Water is not here today. I'm not going to have American Water here. This is a township thing. This is the ordinance, and we're hearing from the residents. And then what happens at the end of the night determines what happens on November 5th.
But unfortunately, there was no mailer, so most citizens aren't here.
Our meetings are advertised on our website and also on our Facebook page.
They're pretty hard to find. And what Facebook page are you talking about? Because the Gloucester Township page only tells me when farmers markets are and when there's summer stage in the park. I never have seen on that page that you guys are having a meeting.
Okay, I'll follow up with our social media people. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Tony Gennaro again, Stetzer Avenue, Blackwood. Mr. Mercado, as the chair, you've got a lot of responsibility, and I want to believe that you're a fair man. It is my understanding that this meeting was held so we could sway your mind into voting our conscience. Am I correct at that?
This meeting is held to provide public comment.
And our public comment, again, is geared up to sway you one way or another. Like you said, you did not make up your mind as to vote pro or con. Am I correct?
I have over the last 6 months have not say this is something we have to do or this is something we can't do.
I'm agreeing. That's what I'm
what I've provided is this will happen if the sale goes.
And I believe that you possibly may have misspoke when you said this was going on the ballot. I don't believe you meant to say that because again, you said that your mind was not made up. And it's our job, and I think we've done a pretty good job into letting the council members know how we feel. Now, granted, I've been at these meetings where you could barely get in here. I don't know why there's not enough people here tonight. Flyers, granted, somebody's gonna pay for the flyers to get the words out. And of course, it can't come out of your budget because we're already in the red. Getting back to that, the MUA had a surplus. So they were operating beneficially to our community. And it comes down to our community. We live here. I can't afford to move. I mean, I came here from California because, again, I like it here. But it all comes down to dollars and cents. And, you know, our elderly people, even those of us that are working our asses off, you know, when they decided to raise minimum wage, it didn't benefit me any. They didn't raise my salary commensurate with everybody who was making $7 an hour to now making $15 an hour. I would have loved my salary to double, but they sure raised the price of McDonald's, Wendy's, everything you have to pay for. We go to ShopRite. I used to pay $17 for a bag of animal treats. Now I'm paying $23 for the same bag. Now, granted, okay, a lot of people said, well, it's COVID this, supply chain issues this. But again, it comes down to you guys. And it comes down to you guys work for us. We put you in. Mr. Mercado, I voted for you. I'm gonna break my anonymity. I voted for you.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
And would I do it again? If I continue to believe you're a fair person, I may do that again. If not, maybe someday I may take a seat up there. But then again, I'll be working till I'm about 90 anyway to be able to afford I'm living here. It comes down to this. You're supposed to speak for us. You're supposed to vote our conscience. Our collective here has all been against privatizing. Maybe they need better management skills and administration, or we wouldn't be in such a deficit. You said we're $64 million down. Well, it didn't happen overnight. And by taking American Water's money and privatizing, we're all the ones that are going to suffer. You too. Your rates are going to go up too. So at the end of the night, vote your conscience. Look at yourself in the mirror. You know, do you want to take care of us, or do you want to put a knife in our back? I don't believe you want to do that. Because again, ramifications happen all down the line, and it's all going to come out of our pockets. I mean, I don't want to move, but someday I may not be able to afford to live here. A lot of our seniors are being forced to sell, go into nursing homes because they can't keep their houses. Every other community that I've seen American Water take over has had their rates go up. You've had somebody show you Pennsylvania's numbers. Now, granted, maybe we don't have all the information on New Jersey's numbers, but maybe that's something we can find out. And I believe we shouldn't be so hastily to give something away that's an asset. If it's an asset and the MUA has actually made money, they'd be able to roll over and give to our township. Damn it, keep the damn thing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Mr. Leader, and then Mr. Shuck, you'll be our last speaker.
Members of council, I'm new to your meetings. I've lived here for a number of years. My father-in-law lived here his whole life. My wife and I now live in the house that he bought in New Jersey. You all live here, but you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself if you've truly done the due diligence to make this proposal in the first place. Secondly, I've been trying to get involved with working meetings with council. I've asked for a calendar schedule of working meetings. I haven't seen any. I asked for a working meeting about the dissolution of the MUA. That never happened to my knowledge. If it did, I'd stand corrected. I asked for a working meeting when you were proposing that we give our assets to a for-profit private company. I got no working meeting notices about that. So have you really worked with the public here? Have there been working meetings where the details from the public, from yourselves, can be made known and then advertised in minutes? That's due diligence. That's working with your public. I don't think you've done that. This is an opportunity for you to not let the genie out of the bag. Once you sell it, it will cost you triple as much to buy it back. You're done. When you vote tonight, it's over. If you vote to sell the sewer division, you'll never get it back. All the assets your taxpayers, including yourselves, have paid all those years with the MUA and achieved the benefits of having a well-run MUA that had $6 million in reserve for emergencies. And wasn't there an emergency right after you folded the MUA into the sewer division? Didn't the main break? And instead of using some of that $6 million that they had in reserve, didn't you get a loan? I don't know that for a fact. But you must know. You must know what you voted to approve. So if you had an efficient, profit-making MUA who knew how to plan and have a reserve account for emergencies, why would you consider giving up that resource at all? Now, let me switch tracks. When I saw the bid's response from American Water, I was impressed. At that moment, I would have said, darn right, infrastructure is expensive. Maintenance of infrastructure is expensive. They're buying that expense from us. That makes so much sense. We should sell it. And then I attended the 2 public forums and found out that's not the way it works. They're a for-profit company. They're not looking out for us. They're looking out for their shareholders and themselves. Sure, there may be infrastructure things needed in our township. If you communicated with the people of your township about more than cutting ribbons and having parks improved, communicate this bad stuff too. That's your job. We hired you to run the township. Your job is to look at the good and the bad and inform your public both ways. You haven't done that in the last 6 months. Look in the mirror tonight and ask yourself, if you've done that in the last 6 months, that you've had a working meeting about this transition, that you've had a working meeting about the previous transmission. It's my understanding that public can attend the working meetings. I'd like to attend them. I can't find them advertised. I've been told that they've been canceled in most cases. I don't know if that's true or not. Could be hearsay. But I do know I want to be involved with the town's decisions. And you have not allowed me to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Leader.
You should vote to table it until you have much more information tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Shutt.
Thank you again thank you for the second chance. I appreciate everything that Mr. Leader just said. I think, in my opinion, Michael Shuck, Wyoke, Aberdeen Drive. My opinion, I believe that this meeting has proven that council does not have all the facts to clearly vote that this ordinance should be put on the ballot. My opinion. Hopefully, some of you share that same opinion. But from where I sat, from what I heard all night, I don't believe you have the facts. So, in my opinion, if you don't have the information, if you don't have all the facts, how do you expect that the residents of the township are going to be able to make an informed, intelligent decision by you putting on the ballot? There's no way. If you all don't know the facts, then how are the residents going to be able to make a proper and intelligent decision? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the hearing.
There's no, Jen has her hand up. There's a limited time.
I had
Jen has
in,
her hand up.
Ms. Hendry,
Jen has her hand up.
Ms. Hendry, you
Jen
don't
has her
run
hand
the
up.
meeting, Ms. Hendry.
Jen has
I had asked, I'm sorry, I had asked if anyone would like to speak, any additional, and I identified 2 individuals. We're closing the hearing.
You're a freaking dictator.
Ordinance, the second reading of public hearing, I'll reread the ordinance again. Ordinance -0-24-17.
I demand to be heard.
It's a limited time.
Mr. Leader.
I'm 78 years old.
Yes, I appreciate it,
I got
Mr.
a lot of
Leader.
life experience. I got my hand up. I
Okay.
demand to be heard.
Mr.
For
Leader,
the people of the township, let them be heard.
there's no shouting out, please. I had asked for the last 2 speakers and they were identified. Mr. Leader, thank you. So ordinance, second reading, public hearing. Ordinance 0-24-17. Ordinance of the Township of Gloucester in the County of Camden, New Jersey, approving agreement of sale between the Township and New Jersey American Water Company for the sale of the Township's wastewater collection and conveyance system and authorizing the proposal to be printed on the ballot for consideration by the voters within the township at the general election on November 5th, 2024, providing for the sale of the township's wastewater system to New Jersey American Water Company. I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? On the question, roll call, please.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mr. Nash?
So, first off, just to respond to some people here. We did extensive research on the facts that are available today. After doing that research, and taking in all your comments and your into consideration, paying off the town's debt, hiring the 23 employees with equal pay and benefits, having a rate protection in place for 5 years, discounts for seniors, property tax stabilization, possible reductions. Taking all that into consideration, I appreciate what you guys are here to say. I appreciate all your thoughts, but I still believe that this is up to the voting population of Gloucester Township to decide. It's not up to this population here. It's not up to this population here. I am also an MUA customer. I pay the same rate to you guys. I have a kid going to college and I have a kid in high school. I have bills too. I don't want to see this rate go up just as much as you don't. But what I do decide, as an elected official, it is our duty to hear the voice of every single voting person in the township. And we would not be doing ourselves a service if we just took a small population of what we hear. So everything you said is recorded. It's live. It's great information. So thank you. But I still believe it should be on the ballot for the entire population to vote. So I vote yes.
Mrs. Walters? Mrs. Winters? Mr. Mercado?
Yes. I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Have a great evening.
You already decided. Another freak. 65 million in 5 years. We'll get back there. Guaranteed. How are you going to inform me? You'll do nothing different. Nothing.
Everything you heard tonight.
Since he didn't answer my question.
Yeah. Only see that.
$65 million. 5 years.